Humanities episode. Can you believe it? The Twin Humanities boys are actually doing a Twin Humanities episode.
Oh my god, is it 2020 already? It's time for our annual episode.
I haven't introduced you yet.
Aww.
Back with the new Twin Hums. It's me and my chum.
How long did that take? How long did that take you to come up with?
Who are you?
I don't know anymore. My name's Paddy. I'm the dashing redhead of the two, and current famous boy. But we'll get to that later. Who are you?
Chat be bopping, conversation bright and breezes with me, Coffee Jesus.
So hang on. So you finished at 2 today, right? Which means you've been working on this for 5 hours.
No. I kind of thought of that in my head, then I wrote it down, and then about 5 minutes before we came on, I was just like, rap drum beats on YouTube.
Because if you have one of these for every segment today, I'm gonna have to leave.
No, sadly not. I wish I had now. I feel like I've disappointed you.
Should we record again tomorrow? Right, let's go away and meet back here in an hour.
Yeah, all of my preparation is for naught.
Oh no, and I've written noughts as well.
Oh, as usual.
Oh,
you must have written something down.
How dare you? I'm looking at 2 full pages of noughts.
Notes? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying noughts. I was thinking, like, as in 0.
No, noughts. Northern notes.
Oh, okay. So today, with all the stuff that we're going to talk about, we've got Paddy's Dark Souls 2 One-Bro run, Nioh 2 Alpha, Code Vein Beta and Launch Gubbins, Hollow Knight, Elden Ring, Death's Gambit, Dark Souls Compendium Guide, The Surge 2, The Surge, Immortal Unchained DLC, and Sekiro, kind of.
Whoa. Whoa! That is a buffet. That is a cheese board of content.
That is quite the sandwich with Paddy as the bread. Obviously, the filling will be me because I don't do carbs, but boy. That's a sandwich that's held together with cocktail sticks, with fries on the side. As they say on the YouTube, let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Oh, God.
There is a man on the YouTubes that says that. I've heard him.
It makes my skin crawl.
Right then. Paddy versus Dark Lurker?
Christ. Well,
so give people sort of a summary of, let's see. So your Dark Souls 2 One-Bro run continues apace on the Twin Humanities YouTube. Many people have done a One-Bro run on the original Dark Souls. Very few of those have done a One-Bro Prime, as we named it, where you complete the game and the DLC without leveling.
Yeah.
You did. I feel like I'm your hype man now.
You've got to beat everyone. No optionals left alive. All men must die.
So Dark Souls 2, we are amongst a group of folks who are super close to the sequel. I remember you saying that you had an attachment in the first place due to it feeling yours. Actually, reviewing it before anyone had spoiled the Blighter in your case.
Up to about Smelter Demon, that chunk of the game was mine.
So I presume that connection is only deepening as you progress into this run. All that I asked that is, when your forthcoming child asks about being a baby, you mentioned that you were both collaborating on this game when she was growing, and the kid ends up forging an equal connection with the game and streaming it, obviously. As your dad's going like, oh, streaming over the ether wires. I remember when it was called the SuperNet Interhighway. Pass me another jam donut.
The Super 64 net. You remember?
So yeah, there's a number of questions in there. As your hype man, I've set you up. Please tell all about Dark Souls 2 One-Bro.
So I think the last time we spoke about it, I think I was kind of hitting the back end of the intentional, like the usual bosses, I think. If you're going to just charge for the end, there's a very set path. You can go here, go there, do that, get the giant skin chip, and off you go. Whereas I've decided to go beat everybody, I had to write like a fucking checklist out of like who I needed to get and like then in what order I would need to do it. Because obviously with all men needing to die, Vendrick's one of those. But there's a few things you've got to do before you do Vendrick. So I went and did all of the giant memories, which turns out were not actually that hard.
Okay.
I don't think. In terms of just going, right, I have one goal, it's the end of the level, pick up the thing, and I win.
Do you just run it?
You just fucking go. Why fight anything? Just fucking move. Even the ones that are there, lure them away, run around them, and just peg it. Like, it is speedrun strats for the most part. Apart from the boss, the giant lord boss, which I'd forgotten how to fight, and I'd forgotten that the route to get to the giant lord boss, while it might be a straight line, is also a straight line filled with firebombs and a giant fucking head that lands on the table.
Fraught with sky-based danger.
It killed me probably about 10 times just getting to the goddamn boss, and it is one road, a simple castle battlement to run along. It's you can't, and you can't. So I did it in the end. I beat the giant lord after about 2 or 3 goes. It wasn't actually that bad. Then it's the optional times. I mean, I think by the time we're recording this, the Dark Lurker kill has not gone up on YouTube, but I think people know that it's coming. So I did the Ancient Dragon first. Fuck the Dragon Shrine. It's evil. It's evil. However, you can cheese it because you can despawn the levels as you play. I don't know if you played the Dragon Shrine in Scholar, but as you go through, you've got those big, the kind of the giant old knights who fight you, and you've got the dragon kind of golden dragon guys who just watch. And if you decide to run past them all, everyone will chase you. All the dragon guys will chase you. All the big guys, everyone will chase you. Whereas if you fight them mano a mano, the dragon guys leave you alone. And they'll just stay there, which is brilliant. So here was my strategy. I thought, I wonder, if I despawn the big guys by fighting them over and over and over and over again, because I don't want to have to do this every single time. It's a pain in the ass. So I think it's 12 times you have to kill them for them to be properly gone forever. So I thought, I've got time. I'll do that.
Wow, that's the sort of move I'd pull where you go like, so how far are you into Game X? And I'm like, I'm just on the first area. You'd be like, what level are you? Like, level 96.
9012, like, So, yeah, I went through, I took my time. I will admit to resorting to my favourite shoot that poison arrow through their hearts. Used very, very cheap, cowardly baby man tactics to beat them. But after a while, the 3 dudes that were in my way were all gone. And the dragon men, they just leave you alone. You can just run past them and there's nothing to run away from, so they don't care. Honour preserved. The Ancient Dragon itself can go eat a dick. The worst boss fight in the game. And I don't mean worse because it's hard, I mean worse because it's boring. It is dull. It is non-interesting. It is literally a one-hit kill. If you fuck up one move, you're dead. Like, especially as a One-Bro. I mean, I had this one on my regular run as well. Like, if you miss one attack, you're basically done. You can do a thing where you kind of cheese it, where you hide underneath him near his feet and kind of bait him to do the stomp attack over and over again, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. But my god, there's just no margin for error. And it's a long fight. It's like a 2-minute fight. You've got to kind of stay focused and on and dodging and moving. And if he jumps up and does that shitty flame all over the floor move, you're fucked. Unless you were moving before he started doing it. It's just bad fight. Just a bad fight. If the damage values were scaled down just a bit, about 25%, it would be okay. But it's too much. But killing the Ancient Dragon gave me my final one of the giant souls. So I had 5 at this point, which is the maximum number you can have. And the best number to go fight Vendrick with, because for every giant soul you have, his defense halves. So if you have 5 giant souls, you can fight him normally, rather than I'm doing 1 damage. I'm doing 1 damage. Yeah, so the more shit you gather, the easier Vendrick becomes. And he's still not a pushover, but he is very slow. I nearly popped Vendrick on attempt number 1.
That's wacky.
It was literally the last move, and Laura was there, and I fucked it up, and she told me off, and it was my own fault. I got a bit greedy at the end. I wasn't paying attention, and the last one, it trapped me, and it got me. It took about 4 or 5 goes in the end, and again, a lot of those were me doing something stupid, like getting stuck against the wall. The usual strategy applies, which is run behind the person, stand in the bum, and you'll be fine. Just stand in the bum, rub your face on his left bum cheek, you will be fine. A lot of his attacks just miss. Without even needing to dodge, they just whiff, which is good. And that was fine, and that was okay. And then we get to fucking Dark Lurker, and I need to take a sip of a drink here because, my god. Dark Lurker has been, at this point, 15 episodes, I think? Plus some off-camera grinding.
Bloody hell. I don't know how you do that with being a wee mortal man.
Well, I'll tell you how. For a start, the actual levels to get there, you've got to go through 3 separate chasms. The Dark Chasm of Old. Dark Souls 2 people will know about these, where you have to run through, kill all the phantoms in these horrible areas and light a torch. Once you've done all 3, the way to the boss opens up, and any of the 3 will then lead to the boss at the end. So the exit becomes the boss door. The first one you go in, the first one I went in Drang Lake Castle, the very first enemy is a Havel. You're like, well, I'm dead. And I did die a few times. And then you discover the trick. There's a little ledge you can jump onto. Mm-hmm. They can't. They can't. They don't have the strats. So you lure the enemies back, you hop up onto the little ledge, and then you poison arrow them to death. Very slowly, incredibly boringly. In fact, 2 or 3 of the episodes that are up are me just standing there on this ledge, poison arrowing the enemies in this level to death. Which is incredibly cheap and incredibly cheesy, but I do not care. I can't fight them man to man. There are no summons. There's nothing to help you here. It's just awful. Compound on top of this the problem that every single time you go into a Dark Chasm of Old, it costs you a humanity. Like an effigy. You've got to pay 1 effigy just to get into the fucking place. Certain ones, the one in the Black Gulch, for instance, I died probably 7 or 8 times just getting to the portal to pay my effigy to get in. And then once you're in, because you died so many times, you've got to pop another one because you're a weak boy and you need all the HP you can get.
Again, you're doing stuff that I need to do on my Xbox One run to get my 100%, and I fear it.
It's okay, you've got levels, you'll be fine. You've got actual gear. I've got a rapier, and I'm literally wearing the peasant gear because it increases your adaptability. It does not have very good defense stats, but it means you can roll slightly better, and that is more valuable. So I beat all the 3. I got there eventually, and decided to go back to the Dragon Lake Castle one to do the actual boss runs from, because it was frankly the easiest run. You just literally run around the corner and you're there. It doesn't have a very easy level unless you cheese it, by which I mean jump on the ledge, taunt them one by one. It takes about 8 minutes each time, but thankfully, the level does despawn. Upon seeing that the Havel was gone, my heart was filled with light. Light and radiance. I can do this. I can empty this bitch out, and I can just get on with it. Because the enemies in the level are not easy, per se. You can't just, fight them, and you can't even run past. You have to kill them before the door opens. You can't just 360 no-scope, right, bye. You've got to kill them. So, after cheesing it for a while, and every time I finished it, I did have a go at Dark Lurker, because there's no point wasting the effigy at that point. You might as well have a go. My first few runs, I didn't even touch him. 2 attacks total in my first 3 runs I managed to get off. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd kind of forgotten all the attacks. I couldn't remember what I was doing. To the point where when we were recording, on episode 138, I did something I'm incredibly unproud of, which is where I shut the game off and we played Crash Team Racing for a while instead.
Is that what you went to cut it?
Which is, I didn't even cut it. I just got up and I took the game out and I put another game in, and the recording just carried on. With me getting annoyed, sort of background angry, with Laura laughing at me the whole time. That one's up now. That's the one that's just gone up. So, yeah, people seem to be enjoying my hissy fit. Special shout out, by the way, to Crush Shoals, to prove that we all have hissy fits now and then. Your Sekiro one was pretty bad. My Dark Lurker one was pretty bad as well. So I'm with you, buds, I should say. I'm with you, buds. So eventually I calmed down and I went back to it. I thought, right, I can fucking do this. So I watched a couple of videos and what does Dark Lurker actually do? He's got a few attacks, what does he do? And I watched a couple, thought, right, okay, I can deal with this. So when he does the one where he shoots the black into the hole and it comes out the other one, find the second hole and run away. When he does the fire, just run away. A lot of his attacks are just run away. If you can bait him out to do his magic Soul Reaver sword arm move, where he kind of summons a blade of magic and just swipes it in front of you, if you're behind him, it doesn't hit you. Or even just slightly to his left, it won't actually hit you. Again, for some reason, being stood right next to him, his kill arc is about 4 or 5 feet in front of him. So, using that strategy, I was able to practice a bit and get a bit better at it. I got to the point where I can get to the second phase of the fight without taking a hit now, which is pretty good. just with my rapier. I was still not doing well, because what would happen when I get to that point, and then Dark Lurker splits and becomes 2 Dark Lurkers, and then I'm dead. Like, I'm dead. I'm straight dead. There's no coming back from it. So I, looked online. I went to the wiki to Fextra Life, as we all do. And I looked at some strategies. I was like, well, what works? What can I even do because use the so-and-so greatsword with this and that and maximize that. Like, no. I'm a baby. I need small tactics for small boys.
I can't lift it.
I physically can't put this armor on. I'm too stupid.
I'm a weakling. My arms are as noodles.
If I put on this heavy gloves, I will fall on the floor and not be able to stand. You manacle me, sir. But I saw a pyromancy idea. And again, pyromancy doesn't scale with anything. Like, you can wield it at level 1. The problem is attunement slots. But I had picked up a ring that gives me 2 more attunement slots. I was like, okay,
cool.
Okay, maybe there's something here. So, with a little bit of trial and error, including nearly setting Majula on fire. Oh my god, I let off a Chaos Firestorm in the middle of Majula, and my god, it didn't hit anyone, but I was... This was off camera. I would have been swearing very loud. It wasn't good. But anyway, everyone survived. It was a bad panic, but everyone survived. I settled on Great Combustion and Firestorm, and kind of thought, well, what order do I do them? Because I could do Combustion at first, which gets him to break pretty easily, but then I'm fucked. So I kind of jiggled around with it until I found something I was happy with, found a system. And the system I end up with is fight him first with the rapier, buff it if you can, because you can usually get a buff off if you're quick enough. Fight him at first with the rapier. The second he splits, I was going to start throwing Firestorm down, which sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. Because Firestorm's very situational. Like, you'll find you'll drop it and it will burst up all over the floor and it will hit him one time. You're like, that's 20 explosions and only one hit him. And other times, 5 of them will hit him. It's like, well, I can't rely on this. And it kind of wasn't working. So I thought, well, what if I use Combustion? Because Combustion's strong and I've only got to kill one of them. They share a health bar, so I've only got to attack one of them. If I can stay up long enough, I might be able to do this. So on the run that actually worked, I managed to crack off Combustion as he was splitting and it hit both. So I got like double damage off of it, which was nice. That was a tasty one. And then it was just a matter of just gritting my teeth, being Captain Testicles, and just go, fire, take a hit if you have to, but just keep doing it. And I am happy to say that I have killed Dark Lurker for the first time in my entire life. I have never killed him. Never. In any of my runs, I always gave up. I've never killed him. I killed the first time as level 1. What the fuck? I'm still shaking. I'm still excited.
So what comes next?
Well, all of the main game bosses, apart from the end 3, which is the Throne Watcher and Defender, Nishandra, and Aldia. Everyone else is done. I have, for all intents and purposes, in the end game of the game. However, all men must die. So, in no particular order, we're heading off to the Crown of the Sunken King. Hey. We have got the Gank Squad to deal with. We have got Ilana, the Squalid Queen, who could summon Velstadt. We have got Sin, the Slumbering Dragon that breaks all of your shit. Then we head off to the Crown of the Old Iron King. In the Crown of the Old Iron King, we have Suralon, Samurai Bastard. We have the Blue Smelter. Oh my god. We have Fume Knight. Oh my god. Then we move along, if we're still sane at that point, to the Crown of the Ivory King. And then we have Ava, the King's Pet, the Invisible Tiger Twat. Then we have Electric Ponyland, culminating with a fight against 2 Tiger Bastards. Oh, I'm going to have to despawn that one so hard. And then we have the Burnt Ivory King, which is going to be an event in level 1, I think. I think that's going to be an event. I am confident that I can do these things, but I'm not confident.
If you've come this far, I think it's possible. And like I say, after seeing Jen Denise fight Suralon, sort of talking to chat on Twitch constantly, whilst literally just slapping him, anything is possible.
So I can do it, but it will not be fast, is the thing. I will be doing a lot more montages in the back half of this season, I think. The montage train has definitely kicked into a bit overdrive now because I am having to take some time away and just play it without having to think or talk because it's just hard. Again, Dark Liquor was one I had to... I'm not going to say what the montage I've constructed is because it's not up yet. But there is a montage and I'm pretty proud of it. So yeah, I will be doing a lot more just sitting there quietly, running through a level, killing it before I actually fight the bosses now, I think. And I think that's, for my own sanity, I think the best move. I don't want to have to deal with a level every single time. And I don't think anyone wants to watch me go through the same level 12 times in a row. That is boring. So yeah, I'm confident, but I'm worried.
Good lad. I wish you well.
Thank you. We'll see how we are next time we talk.
Right, so I'll bounce on now to the Nioh 2 Alpha, which came out of nowhere, with a selection of folks getting in, with a few of those people passing codes on to their favourites, so they could play it. Not me. So it ran May 24th to June 2nd. You and I were divided on the first game. I loved it, you didn't.
Nioh is what I came to. Yeah.
So the second game seems... I think Kokani said it seems like a love letter to those who loved the first game. I watched this playthrough and have been surprised and delighted at what I've seen. It's a prequel. No samurai Irish Geralt looking fella this time, but a full character creator with presets of handsome gentlemen, pretty ladies to monkey about with. Similar fighting style to the first game with stances, billions of weapons and variants. Very much like that Diablo vibe that was there in the first game. I saw a tweet by Epic Name Bro about this and of how he wasn't a fan of the copious amounts of weapons that were available, but the comments underneath were very much in favour of it, sort of, and the loot will flow. So I think maybe part of the reason that a lot of people connected with it was the Diablo style of stuff. But the first game had red swords stuck in the ground, giving you the ability to fight the impression of someone that had died there. I
remember. Yeah. You could fight their ghost wearing their gear, and if you beat them, you could get a bit of their gear, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, you get to view their loot and measure what you fancy fighting as well before you actually sort of have a pop at it. This time there are blue swords in the ground. Again, impressions of other players, but this time AI buddies to fight alongside you. It's essentially NPC summoning.
Interesting.
Yeah, plus, as with red swords, you can see the gear the person has, so you can pick and choose who you want and what you think will be effective to fight alongside you.
Does the owner of that get something? Do you know?
I think they must get like some sort of kick on or a buff or something. So yeah,
like a Dragon's Dogma pawn that's particularly buff and come back and you've got about 4 billion Rift Crystals. Like, people like me. They really like me.
I mean, there was a way of bringing people into the game in the first one, but I think it was quite convoluted and quite complicated. This just seems like a good way of getting people kicking on who are maybe struggling a little bit. Plus, as you mentioned, you can get those little boosts for having your impression available for other people. I just think it's a really cool choice, and obviously in the light of Sekiro shunning this sort of stuff, I thought it was a cool little twist. This time you get to assume the form of a yokai for a time, essentially hulking out into a monster with a big sword, which can get even bigger. You get to pick up other abilities as you go along as well, like summoning a tornado, projectile vomiting poisoned goop.
Cool.
Harryhausen summoning 2 skeletal warriors to take out baddies alongside you. There's other stuff like you remember the quirky, cute little green Kodamas that you had to guide back to the shrines?
Yeah.
Kokanich found a purple one. He was squeaking like mad and doing these sort of scrunchy hands. If you try and fight him, he kicks your ass, but drop a weapon and he gives you a better variation of it back.
Interesting.
At one point you meet this little rotund cat. It's like a little ball, but a cat.
Yes.
You can pet the cat. do so, and the cat will begin purring and brushing around your legs. Walk on, and the cat rolls, literally like a ball, rolls after you, casting buffs to give you rage.
Go on, cat.
It was one of those mechanics where it's like, I like that you've embraced the truly weird. I always like it when games do that, but this just seemed like a step beyond, and I was like, yeah, that's
I'm glad
really
you explained that, because I did do a little bit of research. I did watch a bit of YouTube about this. I saw the cat. I didn't know what the cat did. That does sound good. And I mostly watched the yokai stuff. Looks very Devil Trigger. Looks like Devil May Cry Devil Trigger stuff. Like, I'm going to be big now. You're all fucked. And it did seem like a win button in the stuff I saw anyway. But I suppose level 1, you're bringing the Hulk to level 1. What do you expect?
You are, but they
look cool though. You know,
they do give you a bit to kind of contrast that against as it goes along, and also your timing when you're bringing that out as well. Because if you think you're in a situation that you maybe can or can't handle it, further down the line you might be in more trouble. So
it does seem a bit like it might be too hard for me. Again, I know you said earlier it's like a love letter to the people who like the first one. That's really cool. And for people I think that love Nioh, this looks like more but bigger.
You see,
I guess
this is the weird thing, because I didn't find Nioh as hard as you. I think because it fits into my playstyle of being very slow in a game and very strategic. Because we've always joked that you're the one that's in the face of the creatures, and I'm the one that's sort of walking and hiding behind things. And it's I don't know. I found it very Demon Souls in that regard. It felt very slow and very physical. And
whereas I'm an impatient fuck, so
yeah. I mean, like I say, later on in the demo, there was this fabulous underground section which exchanged the blokes of the opening level, which the opening level is very much like the first one, and it exchanged those for monsters. There was an early one which creeped Brad Galloway out, which was this giant grub with a skull face and pincer arms.
Okay.
I was impressed by these poison puddles with swords in them. If you go near them, they transform into jelly monsters with swords in their back, and they vomit out poison, and occasionally they'll spit out one of the swords at you.
Oh.
Yeah. And my favourite, and by that I mean it scared me to death, was an enemy that looks like Sadako from the Ring films. It's sort of mermaid-like, but instead of a fish tail, it's that of a snake.
Ooh.
The long hair can be used as a whip. She has no arms. She has a Medusa-like stare that can paralyse you in place, and they hang upside down from the ceiling like bats, drop down on you, and are fast. They also have that Attack on Titan and the sort of distended jaw, and will wrap the snake tail around you and take a bite out of your face.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was one of those, because they move so fast as well, you're like, oh, Jesus, oh, no, why?
Oh, please, no.
Yeah, they do kind of like a Geratados when they sort of wrap around you. It's really horrible.
Oh, cool.
I'm dead impressed with it, and it's been alluded by numerous sources that this feels less like an alpha and more like a demo of an actual polished, finished product. As to whether they're just seeing how folks are getting on with it and are going to rebalance based on that feedback, I don't know.
Did that for the first game, didn't they? They tweaked it a bit.
Yeah, and I think there was a decent amount of time between that and the sort of the beta, but everybody's going, this is done. Which, ties into to stuff that we've spoken about recently as well, which is kind of cool. It's not just let's stick out a demo for marketing purposes, or this is broken as all balls. There's games that feel like they're ready, and this is probably just waiting for its launch slot, I guess. And it feels like a January game for me. Stick this out in January after Christmas, because everything in the running is just bonkers at the minute.
Yeah, there's a lot. Even as someone who's not buying a lot of shit this year, there's a lot. Yeah, but it looks cool. I mean, like I say, it didn't. What I've seen, I watched a few videos at lunchtime with my notes that I have written. They're right there. It's probably not going to be one I pick up, but it does look like more good stuff for people who like Nioh, I think. And I think this is a game for people who like the first one.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
But all the decisions that they've made seem to be really smart decisions. Like quirky little twists and cool stuff. It's not shunning the first game. It's
they've expanded upon it, haven't they? They've taken the idea and run with it. Yeah,
I do like it when games have sort of wobbly, wacky ideas in there as well. So, and that cat was just super adorable.
Yeah, I did like the rolling cat.
Yeah. So, yes.
Well done, Nioh 2 Alpha. You did a good showing.
You did. So we then had the Code Vein network test. Code Vein announced itself as a Souls-like, looked unimpressive, and I don't know a single soul who really fancied it at all.
Oh.
Okay. Time passed, YouTube folks were flown out to play it, and most were seemingly full of shrugs and criticisms, along with a smattering of the things that they liked. The release date was pulled, and the game went back into deep development. Recent hands-on impressions have been much, much more positive, with Sunlight Blade once again pulling an absolute blinder in his preview, which was wonderfully structured, detailed, really entertaining. That boy does good previews. And again, it was a pleasure to watch. So, from what I could tell there, fabulous character creator, it looked fun to play, bosses looked beefy and quirky without being tornadoes, and my hype level went from nothing to... Ooh.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. Hands-on with it was a bit of a treat. I enjoyed the story. It looked fantastic. It looked anime cliche-tastic in the same way as God Eater 3 was. But it felt like traditional Souls. There was enough of its own thing in the mix to distinguish itself, being able to change classes on the fly, each with their own advantages. Early retail pre-orders gave the promise of God Eater weapons. The Blanched Greatsword... The Blanched Greatsword, Cerulean Spear and Crimson Longsword, Blood Vein Ogre Venus Claw, an exclusive type of Blood Veil Ogre, a devastating short-range weapon that will prove a Revenant's best friend in the fight against the Lost, and an accessory set coming with a brand new blood code Harbinger for special character stats, exclusive communication stamps for multiplayer coordination, which is a bit like the stickers in Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And customization options to make one's Revenant truly shine. So E3 goes release date of September. Bamco wasted no time in talking about a season pass, though.
See, none of the things you mentioned there were a hammer, though, so you've kind of lost me.
You in the beta you get a hammer pretty early, which is a bit of kind of a motorway post.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I know, because I did some other research.
Oh my god!
I didn't play the thing. I didn't sign up for the beta, but I have watched some videos of it now. I did like the hammer that was just, like I say, a bit of concrete with a post stuck through it.
Yeah.
Give me more weapons that are just a piece of shit the characters picked up.
Did you see the character creator?
I saw bits of it, yes.
It's insane. I
do like that most YouTube peoples the ones I clicked on, created the most boring looking, super trash weeb boys. Yours was brilliant. Everyone else's is just like, I'm going to make a white-haired Ronin guy with a cool scar. Like, come on! Come on, throw a pie! Be a clown!
I got to that character creator, and I was like, I'm going to create a waifu. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll have pink hair. I like pink-haired lasses. I'll do that. And then it was just like, I made this outfit, and it was a metallic pink top, and then I think there was some sort of skirt affair, and some chunky boots and some torn tights, and God, you've got stuff like you can have a bag, and the bag doesn't just go on your back. You get the option to have the bag on your back, on your bum, on either hip, on your arm, literally on the side of your forearm.
Right.
And there were loads of different ones. I think I went with one that looked like one of the boxes from those old Living Dead dolls. It just looked like a tiny coffin.
God.
But I made this outfit, and I was like, that's really nice. And then I saw this lovely white top with sort of gorgeous little pastel dots on it, and I saw some rainbow pants, and I was like, Dark Souls has never ever given me a white top with pastel dots on and rainbow pants. So that's what I went with. And unfortunately, much of that top was covered up by the jacket that I had to wear at the start and stuff. But you've got, I mean, it's the most in-depth character creator I've ever seen. But you can save off individual outfits as well.
Oh, that's handy.
So I'd saved 2 outfits before I reluctantly moved on.
How long did this take?
I did far 2 hours. And Gadget Girl Kylie started playing it on Twitch, and she was like, "I've said I'm only going to spend half an hour on the character creator," and I was like, "Kylie, you're in denial. You don't know what you're getting yourself in for." And it's seriously super in depth. You can design your hair, but then you can put hair on hair and have like extensions and coloured bits and shiny bits. Literally, the amount of colour choices you can have and stuff are just astonishing. It's phenomenal. The makeup options are superb. It's a new standard for character creators. It's really good.
That's really cool. I like the clothes. So the clothes don't, stat wise, are just there, right? They're nothing that applies, because that's great. I like that because the problem I have with like fashion Souls particularly is I've made a cool set of armor, but it is statistically very bad for me to wear. And I want to look good while I kill things, and that sounds like a good point.
There were certain things that could give you different abilities that you could put on. Like I'm sure I picked up like some different jackets that tied into certain classes, and I got a class whereby I'd essentially got sort of like a magic bayonet, sort of like a big long sort of sniper rifle that I could pick things off with. But it's. I was dead impressed, but go on. You saw some footage.
Yeah, I think it was Arex that I watched. I think that's the one I found, and I watched him play the first, because every single video is like the first hour. Like, no, just give me like edited highlights. I don't have an hour, but I picked one at random. I picked Arex's out of just that one looked okay. I clicked it. It looks a lot less aggressively vampire than the first trailer made it out to be. Like the first trailer the tone was not good. I don't think.
I think they were going maybe for a little bit kind of emo and edgy. That.
And now I've seen a bit of God Eater, I can see where the DNA kind of comes across there. I can kind of see where the visual choices have come from in it. I like that. I will say the girl that's with you at the start, do not like her one bit. Okay. Oh, she's awful. Oh, she's terrible. She has more fabric on her hood than the entire rest of her body. It's awful. It's just like, look at this doe-eyed waifu. No, terrible. Let me make my own, like Dragon's Dogma, where my waifu was just a short, squat, rotund man. Let me, or the one I made in my last run on PS4, which was myself.
But she's,
and I picked
as
myself
far as I can
out.
Tell, she's only there at the start of it. I'm sure I was going through levels with other people. So
I think she'll be a presence, though. She'll be a presence.
I think she kind of guides you on your journey and like sets you off, presumably after you get out of the the prison-like status that you're in at the start of it. But you're going through with other NPCs, and you can bring in help as well.
I thought the combat looked a little bit. It looked okay. I wasn't sure about it. It looked, basic but doable. But again, level 1, you kind of don't expect to see the cool stuff off the minute ago. So I kind of put that as a 0 point. I will say the guy that's with you at the start, who and I went through a bit of a roller coaster here, because I wrote down, I like the cool guy, the ginger guy with the cool off the shoulder coat and a big hammer and the waistcoat. That's me. That's the guy I would be. That's exactly the guy I would make. And then 20 minutes later in the video, oh no, he's dying. Oh no, he's been hurt. And then another 15 minutes into the video, oh no, he's the bad guy now. Oh, now we have to kill him. Well, there's my interest gone. Oliver Collins. What a boy. What a boy, Oliver Collins. I miss you already.
I think that's the thing with regards to, if I remember rightly, you were going out searching for these kind of blood capsules, but you were doing it for somebody, but they're also the thing that can keep you alive. So not dissimilar to God Eater 3, with it starting with you sort of being contained in in a prison and stuff. But I really like the anime aesthetic. I thought it looked sincere. It didn't look like let's do an anime Dark Souls. It actually looked, the levels were nice.
Yeah.
The characters were really well animated.
It has grown on me today, definitely.
Yeah.
I think I appreciate it more today now I've actually watched it, and it's not just like vampire red coat weeb people. It's
Also,
just like
the characters are massive. They are massive, and
they look
I
tall.
I kind of like that. And the combat, as you were saying, like it's only level 1, so you're not exactly going to be doing the most sort of fruity stuff that you could possibly do. But the combat felt good, and there's in the tutorial there's a lot of depth to the different classes, which you can switch out from on the fly. So if you get
I like the thing about as you level up the classes, you can kind of unlock gifts for those particular classes, but as you kind of go, you can also choose to kind of stick those gifts with other ones, so you could be a soldier type class who can also throw a spell.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that a lot. That kind of, there's your build variety, isn't it? Like
this is the thing. Whilst it's walking in, the footsteps of Dark Souls with a lot of the way that the template is there, it seemed to veer off and make it and have its own identity. And when I was playing it, honestly, it looked so beautiful on the telly. I was staring at it. But within the stuff like the character creator, and I like being able to be as goofy or as fashionable or as brilliant as possible, and to be that kind of vibrant on my telly. I like it. Don't just give me greys and browns and all that kind of bollocks. I like to see colours.
You're among friends on this particular show.
And it felt sincere, and that's what kind of took me by surprise with the level of depth of certain things. And it came across as they got a game that initially hadn't been doing it for people. They super went into development, and what they've come back with is a better game.
Yeah. Well done, Bamgo Namgai. Is it Bando Namgai?
It is.
Bando?
What is Bando Namco?
Bando Namdai.
So, I mentioned that retail version that I ordered with the God Eater weapons and all that kind of stuff. The Season Pass has been announced. But there's a digital version with a shiny custom parts set. Includes 3 shiny hair accessory parts.
Is this gold weapon territory?
It might be. But it's shiny hair. At least it's not gold. You can change the colour. Blood Code Trailblazer, the blood code of those who have overflowing ambition within them and awaken as a revenant. Not sure what that means.
That's me.
It enables the use of the gift Death Parade Bomb, which gets props for me just for the name of it, because it sounds like something out of JoJo. Which
there is an anime called Death Parade. Like, not kidding, it's really good as well. Ooh.
So Death Parade Bomb deals massive damage to the player's surroundings, but also puts the player's life at risk by nearly killing them, which sounds kind of fun. Protagonist character special stamp set used for communication during multiplayer. The Season Pass bonus, though. 3 add-ons post-launch that includes additional dungeons, another character version of partners, blood codes, and more. Bonuses: that character Mia that you hate, you can have a white version. The blood code.
She is a white version. Wait, what? Who?
I don't know. That's what it says here. Blood code Estrella, a blood code in which Mia's request for a blessing takes form and manifests. And Code Vein PlayStation 4 theme. Revenants gather at the base. But then there's the digital deluxe edition.
Oh, God.
Which is Code Vein, the Season Pass, and the following bonus content.
All right.
Bloodthirsty customized part set. Includes 3 accessories and 1 exclusive design mask. So, yeah. But this is anime. Surely we're not done. And you'd be right to think that because Hot Springs.
Oh.
A hot springs facility is available at your in-game base. You can even get into the hot springs with the characters that you have befriended. There is also a feature where you can look back on memories of the past, but details as to what that entails are unknown. Knowing this, I look forward to making the wrong decisions based entirely on how good someone will look in a swimsuit. I'm sorry, Barry, I don't care that you rescued me from a prison and certain death, or how much you've defended me from the last 3 levels, even taking a fatal wound on behalf of me against a boss I was sure I would die against. I just feel that Tracy, someone who's tried twice to sell me out to the baddies, would look better in a bikini. No offence, Barry.
Wow.
Yeah,
when you said hot springs, I thought you were referencing our last episode of Huge Monster Teeth and was trying to work out what the hell you're on about. I didn't think you meant an actual hot spring. Jesus.
So yeah, that's quite a bit there, isn't it, Pad?
It's quite a bit. I hope they put a demo out because I'd like to get my hands on it before I...
Paddy,
if I do want to buy it. Yeah.
That's not it. G Fuel. What? You can buy
my God.
You can buy special packs of G Fuel workout sprinkles with a bottle featuring either Mia or the protagonist boxed in with it. Have anime vampire thoughts while you're doing your lifting and putting it down, then picking it up, then putting it down again. Have some blood, feel the burn. I made that bit up. But regardless, they've sold out. So that's it then.
Are you sure?
It's not, no Patrick. More... It's not.
No, oh my God, this shonen power creep bullshit.
Whilst researching something else, Code Vein also has a retail collector's edition.
I'm so angry.
This includes the standard God Eater weapons, Blood Veil Ogre, Venom's Claw, and accessory set as seen in the standard retail bonuses. But it also comes with digital content.
Oh, good.
Original soundtrack, original art book, and in-game customization set. Insatiable Bloodthirst. Plus... Mia Karnstein figure with Mia in Russian hat, black leather jacket, short skirt, pop socks and chunky boots, aiming her bayonet as her Dr. Octopus metal blood weapon swirls around her. I mock, but it's pretty cool. Not to mention...
What?
Collector's box. It comes in a
good.
Collector's box. Is that too much?
That is too much. Are we done?
No, there's another one.
Fuck off.
Order from Bamco's website and you get an exclusive steelbook, which apparently is worth a good £30 more than my pre-order sits at.
It's just a steelbook.
No, Pat, it's not. It is. So, yeah, like I say, I played the demo. I really liked it. It's in the same universe as God Eater. God Eater has nattered about in the recently released The Huge Monster Teeth episode, Hot Springs, where we also discuss Iceborne Dauntless and T-shirts.
Are we done?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
Spoiler, there are boobs, hot fellas, anime cliches, and it's huge amounts of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that last section of that segment has melted my brain and we'll have to end the podcast now. Sorry, everyone. I died.
The fun thing was, the more I looked into that, the more ridiculous this became, and the more I was looking forward to doing it on the show.
Christ!
I was like, really? There's another one? What? But yeah, the collector's edition was an exclusive at Game Over here, and that's sold out. The G Fuel things, the magical workout sprinkles, with the bottle featuring either Mia or the protagonist,
yes,
sold out.
Oh no!
So yeah.
Oh, I wanted one.
I know. So yeah, it's a bit of a it's a lot. It's a lot to get your head around. Never mind order it, but the game underneath it is fun. I just hope some of that doesn't cloud it, and I'm hoping that a lot of that stuff that's included in the various editions, you'd just be able to find in the game.
Yeah, like don't Ubisoft spreadsheet this. Come on.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the time when there's stuff it packed in with a game anyway, you know, we're going to give you the shotgun to start off with. You know what? I just want to unlock things in the game as is. Thanks.
Yeah, give me a cool thing, but have it be like a few levels in, so when I get it, it feels natural.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or at least don't sort of pitch it too far away from where I'm starting. Hollow Knight then.
Yeah, yeah. That's my entire commentary. Yeah, it's. Do you know what? Right, Hollow Knight. So what were we watching? It was E3, wasn't it? We were watching, and they showed off a little bit of Silksong, the new one they're doing that was going to be DLC, and then it's like, nah, fuck this, we're going to make a whole game. I'm like, okay, cool, well done. Yep, that sounds like a good idea. And I'd watched our lovely friend Ellie play a little bit of it on stream for like 10 minutes, I think. I just caught the end of one of her streams. I was like, oh, it looks interesting.
Yeah, I've been watching Ellie and Soraya Slays have played it.
And I was kind of, do you know when
chunk of it as well.
something you just like, you see it and you go, nah, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, and yet everybody was just like, oh. And I was just like,
Yeah, I think the fact that it's going to sound really petty now. The fact that it was PC, then it came out on Switch, and then like about 4 months later it came out on the PS4. It's like the hype had gone down by that point. Like, I'll get it eventually. Like everyone's getting sort of dizzy over it now, but I'm not going to be able to play it for a while.
But the last time that sort of thing happened was Shovel Knight, which you ended up enjoying, and I didn't.
Dude, Shovel Knight, I kickstarted Shovel Knight. I played Shovel Knight on the PC and on my Vita and on the telly. I love that game.
I didn't realise you played that on your PC.
I kickstarted the goddamn thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I love that goddamn game. I love Shovel Knight. Fucking love that game. So I kind of, with Hollow Knight, I kind of, you know when you're like in the mood for it, you think, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go now because I looked on the store, it's 12 quid. And it's like, I thought it was like 30 quid.
Really?
I genuinely thought it was more expensive, but I thought, 12 quid's not bad. And kind of and ahed about it for a couple of days. I thought, do you know what? Fuck it, 12 quid. Like, people say they spend 80 hours on this game. 12 quid is nothing. Like, go on then. 12 quid. I'll chuck 12 quid at you. And, like, I'm so utterly furious at myself now. Because this is exactly my shit. Like, almost to the letter, this is exactly my shit. And I'm angry that I waited this long to try it out. And like, oh, this is amazing. It looks really nice. It sounds really nice. The atmosphere is really nice. It plays really nice. The level design is really nice. It's really nice. And I'm playing it, and I don't want to stop playing it when I finish for a night, even though some sections are kicking my fucking teeth in. Like, I want to keep trying, and I think I can do it, and then I don't. And then I keep trying, and I keep trying, and I keep trying. And sometimes I'll do it, and sometimes I won't. And sometimes I'll put a pin on the map and go, I'm going to come back to you later. But, it's good. It's good. Have you played any yet?
So, it had come to Game Pass, and as most things are these days.
Ding!
And I told myself I'd give it a go, if only to underline what my instincts had told me beforehand, that it just wasn't my bag. But I hadn't bothered until you caught me off guard when you said you grabbed it. And then it caught me off guard as to just how wrong I was. Actually playing the thing gave me a deeper appreciation of how it looked and how it felt. And it's one thing seeing something on a stream even, and seeing people put up like screenshots and stuff. It's another thing when you experience it yourself. And like even the stuff that's going on in the background, which I don't think I'd totally picked up on when I was watching sort of Sarah and Ellie stream it and stuff. But when you're focusing on the character that you're controlling and that stuff is in the periphery, it's almost like a huge 3D effect.
It's deep. It's a visually very deep, and it's dense, and there is foreground stuff going on. I actually had the other day a boss fight. The boss actually appeared in the background, and I was like, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Oh shit!" And then it was there, which was really like I wasn't looking there. I was like, "Oh, this feels like a boss room, but I can't see any. What's that shape? Oh no!" And it was kind of approaching and like yelling at me the whole time, like, "Oh no! Oh dearie me!" So yeah, the foreground background was really really good. But carry on. I'm excited.
Yeah, so the game feels massive, and it seems like as though there are numerous ways to go, and it feels maybe a bit overwhelming in that regard. It's like I could go up there, right down there, but the feeling of being very very lost is delicious. I like how slow it feels. I don't know how to describe it, but it's the platforming equivalent of that buttery smooth comment people always apply to Destiny's shooting. And it reminds me actually of why I adored these sorts of games on the Commodore 64. And in fact, that's what the game feels like to me. Like Commodore did this, eventually did this effect to overcome the chunky sprites that were there by standard, where they put a high-res black and white version overlaid over the top of the standard sprites, giving them sort of more details and stuff. And with the limited palette, when I was playing it, it kind of warmed my heart that that's what it felt. It felt like a Commodore 64 platformer. But I've only played a few sessions, and I've yet to really encounter a boss or something that's beyond my skill set, which is always a fear in this sort of game anyway. But I'm scared and enthralled and super taken with it. It's very responsive, and each screen just seems super designed for you to overcome it, but it's always hiding stuff, and the little bonus items that you can find, even the way that you build your life back with the sort of bubbling cauldron in the top. I don't know, genuinely surprised. Genuinely surprised. I don't know. I can't remember being this wrong about something from instinct and just thinking, I don't know why everybody else is seeing in that, to playing it and going, I do see what everybody else is seeing with that.
Yeah.
But I've also got like my own touchstones that it kind of warms my heart. I feel very emotional when I'm playing it. There's something beyond the palette. There's something quite warm about it, and I don't think it's the hand-drawn look of it, but there is something quite, I don't know,
wholesome.
Wholesome and homely about it. Something very sincere again.
I do like voice acting, the noises that the various bugs, the friendly ones you meet, will make. There's have you met the wife of the map maker yet in town?
I don't know. I did. As a slight interjection, I did like seeing little fella sit down on a bench.
That's fun. Just a plop.
Yeah, just like near a little street lamp.
So if you open up your map while you're on there, he will literally look down and open a map up on the screen. You can see him in the background behind it. That's really cute. The map maker that you meet, who you can buy maps off of, which you absolutely should do every single time you find him. Buy the map. His wife lives up in the town, and you meet her very early. And she always just sounds so incredibly bored. As you go in and you say hello, and she does a little bapanada, like this little noise. I love the little noise. It's so good. Like, all right.
You should have that as a text tone.
Yeah, he's still not home. He's still out. Yeah, bapanada. He's got these pins you can buy. Mechanical news for anyone buying it. Buy the map stuff. Just buy all the map stuff as soon as you can. It'll make your life so much easier. I like the map mechanic where you buy a rough map and then when you sit on your bench it fills in the details. The guy Cornifer, who's been going around, kind of does some of the level in rough and kind of maps out some of the bigger rooms and areas, but as you sit on the bench and actually progress, when you sit down or when you die, it will then fill in like hard lines where you've been and what doors are open to you and which ways you haven't gone. I thought this was really cool, and it encourages you to kind of spread out and kind of try different things. I like once you get past the first 2, maybe 3 like areas, the game starts to open up as well. You get a couple of powers that are more traversal based. Okay. I'd liken it. I mean, my probably touchstone to this is, as always, Guacamelee, because it's my favourite one of the Metroidvanias by a mile. I love Guacamelee, and it's got that same feel. Admittedly, not with such a silly, coat of paint on top. It's a lot more, muted, but more somber, but still, like we said, wholesome coat of paint over it. But it's the same idea of you'll pick up powers that will help you progress through the level and also fight the thing. Lots of things have more than one use, which is nice, and you will pick up a power and go, oh wait, I've got that, so maybe I could go there now. And I remember that area where I couldn't go. You can actually go on the map if you buy from the map lady, Bapanada. You can buy pins that you can stick on your map to remind you there's something there that I forgot about, or there's a big dude, or there's a jump that I can't make, or there's something suspicious that I feel like I need a power for, but I don't know what I do there. And there's different colours you can buy, so you can kind of put different ones in different places on your map. So I have red to mark when there's a boss, and I have grey to mark when there's a platforming challenge, and I have blue to mark when there's something I do not understand. And it's helping me kind of piece together like where I need to go, because the point I am in the game now, I mean, I've uncovered maybe 7 or 8 of these areas, and and I still feel like there's tons I'm missing. Like, tons I'm missing. I still feel like I'm early game. Even though I've been through quite a lot of this area now, you know. I think as well, once you hit that sort of 2-3 boss point, I think the game opens up, and I don't think there is a first path you should go to. You just pick a direction and see if you can go down it, and if you can, great. If you can't, because I don't feel like I'm picking up power-ups in the correct order, should we say. Like, I'm just picking stuff up when I find it.
But it's your playthrough.
Exactly.
That's what makes it special, and it feels, even though it's so open, it feels like every screen seems really designed and interconnected.
I've only had one point where I've had to look something up where I was like, I could not work out where I was supposed to go. Like, I went all around the area. I've been up here, down there, sideways. Like, I don't remember where to go. I can't remember. And all this, I just looked at the guy like, where do I go after X boss? And it said, try just below this. And then, oh, it's here. Oh, it was here the whole time. Brilliant. And then you just carry on. And yeah, you'll go into an area sometimes, and it will be fucking terrifying. You'll go into an area sometimes, and it's pitch black. And you should just turn around and leave. Don't go in that area. Don't go in. I've been to a place, the infamous place, I believe is the Blight Town of this game, called Deep Nest. Ooh, Deep Nest is a bad time. Oh, Deep Nest is not good. If you see the name Deep Nest come up on your screen, run away. Run away. You don't want to be there yet. No doubt if you go in there.
Which is your favourite character? The one in this game or the one in the new expansion? Because I really like the look of the one in the expansion.
She's very cool. And my interactions with her so far have been interesting. And I'm looking forward to how her particular weapon will play into the platforming aspects. I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to ruin it for you. But she has a different thing that controls in it. I reckon will control in a different way. And I'm looking forward to how that will influence how the levels are constructed. Do they become more vertical? Do they become more wide-ranging? Is the platforming going to be any different? Like, it's a different verb set, I think, we're going to have that we've got with the Hollow Knight himself. Or then again, maybe you do get that power later. I don't know. But it seemed pretty unique when I saw it. So, fuck, it's cool. Fuck, it's cool. There's a hot spring in it as well. For God's sake, I fell in one. I fell through this massive great hole. I was like, shit, plop. Oh, this is fine. I found another hot spring where I walked in and there were two bugs having a talk. And as I got in the spring, they stopped and just looked at me. And when I left the spring, they carried on muttering to each other. I was like, very cool. Well done, game. It also, just going back to something you said about the levels, like the screens being like their own puzzle. Almost every single room has like some sort of shortcut you can then take when you come back through it later, or some easier, faster way through it. So you're not doing the same challenge over and over and over. You are picking up a power that will let you jump over that bullshit that took you ages to get past because it was difficult when there were spikes everywhere. It will let you bypass an entire room by going down the side of it instead. It's really clever, and the shortcuts are brilliant. And you'll go around the game and you'll nut through a door and go, oh, I'm here now.
Uh-huh.
I've done it. It's shortcut porn. I do like the pin system. Have you tried anything to do with the pins, the charms?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so charms are basically your kind of like feats or special powers you can get that are kind of more passive. So you'll pick up charms as you play. Very early you'll start getting a couple of these, and you can equip these when you sit at a bench. You'll pick up one that lets you accumulate soul a bit faster quite early on. You'll pick up ones that will give you a compass on the map so you can see where the fuck you are, which is super useful when you're going somewhere you've never been before. There's ones that will pick up the money off the floor, gravitated towards you rather than you having to go and pick it all up piece by piece by piece. There's some offensive ones, there's defensive ones, there's ones that work together. They all have their own cost as well, so you can only hold, I think, 4 slots worth to start with. And one might be 1, and one might be 3, and one might be 2. And there's a vendor you can find who will allow you to kind of purchase more slots, so you can start, putting more stuff on and becoming, a bit more versatile and almost doing a build, like creating a setup that works for you. Like if you prefer to do, full-on rush attacks with, shooting off the magic, you can do that. If you'd rather turtle up and take your time, be slow, you can do that. Like it's clever. It's really clever, and everything feels like it's designed well. One thing I will add is that I think there's 4 DLC packs chucked in with the collectors with this edition, with this 12 quid edition.
Yeah,
they appear to be melded in with the game in a way that I didn't notice until I realised. Hang on, this thing is that's a Dream thing, right? One of the DLCs is called the Dream something, and I looked it up. It was like, oh, that's from the Dream pack. You wouldn't notice. You genuinely won't notice. It's it's melded together like it's always supposed to be there, and that's good DLC. That is brilliant DLC. It's really good. It's really good.
It's nice to hear you so happy on it, and also that we are in complete agreement on something that that didn't seem like our kind of thing.
Yeah, it's go play it if you haven't. I mean, everyone listening probably has, because it lit the world on fire for a while. I think we might be the last ones through the door on this one, but
that's fine.
And it did something yesterday. I have fully and irretrievably fucked something up. And I don't know if it's part of the story or not, but I looked it up, and it never gets back. It never fixes. It's now broken. Well, was that me? Maybe it was. It was a bit of a shock, I will say that much. And I applauded.
Interesting.
It was good shit. You know, like when you come back in Dark Souls to Firelink and you find that someone's just gone? You're like,
yeah.
Did I do that? Have I helped? Have I helped? Is helping not helping in this game? Oh no. And there is lore going on. There's loads of stuff going on in the game, and I don't fully understand much of it yet, but I'm starting to get a flavour of what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those things that's going to chip away at you, and then, I don't know, there'll be like an, oh my god, that's... And that's when you truly... I'd imagine the only criticism that you've got is that it's not on Vita.
Yeah,
and you can, I mean, you can imagine why people were jumping up and down about this when it reached the Switch, because it seems like a lovely little game to kind of play in bed and on the train, and the Switch's screen is very much like the Vita's in the regard that it's really bright and it's really resonant, and it's a perfect handheld game.
Well, maybe I'll have to buy a Switch Lite, eh? Hey!
They are really nice, though.
Relevant news. So yeah, Hollow Knight, really good, man.
Also, memory cards that cost £1 million. That's always a wonderful thing.
I bought a big one with birthday money. I didn't care. But yeah,
I also did, but it got stolen along with my Vita.
Oh,
sad times. Elden Ring. So,
that's a game, isn't it?
Yeah, so obviously we've had the reveal trailer at E3 now, but before E3, Games Radar via Nibel on Twitter reported that From's new game will be titled Great Rune back then, and is set in a Norse world with Norse mythology, open world which you explore on horseback. But then Mott the White on Twitter went into further detail, posting up a piece back when it was purely known as Project Rune. So this says development title is Project Rune, Norse themed, having frost giants, Draugr, Draugr.
Draugr. They're in a lot of. They're in Skyrim. They're in God of War as well. I think the new one, Draugr.
What are they?
Angry zombies.
Cool.
Like Viking zombies. They're kind of buff.
And Neckens.
I got nothing. I'm assuming some sort of vampire. If they're anything like the ones in The Witcher, which are Neckers, which are these horrible little water creatures, they could be very similar.
I just typed it in. Elden Ring, best rumours, details and predictions. So I don't know. Let me see. Miyazaki isn't the primary developer. Yui Tanimura, Dark Souls 2 director, is, though Miyazaki is staying on as co-director. From Software's newest game is a dark medieval fantasy ARPG. The game has 3 unique characters you can choose from at the start of the game: a hunter with a longbow, a warrior with a great shield and a giant club, and a wizard who can cast sorceries out of a magic book. Depending on which character you pick, the playthrough will be very different, with unique enemies and locations. There will be multiplayer. Players can invade other players' worlds to cooperate or kill the host of the world. The host can activate this with a summoning stone. The game takes place in a kingdom in a 100-year civil war. The main characters are a fellowship of knights serving under the king. The game starts with all of the other knights missing in action after searching for an artifact to give them an upper hand in the wars to come. The game is made in Unreal Engine and is published... Unreal Engine, that's kind of new for From. And is published by Bandai Namco. The game will also be multi-platform And then it goes on to say that E3 is going to have a cinematic trailer, no gameplay shown. So yeah, there's a few little deets there, which will be interesting to many. I'm just made up by the fact that it's Yui Tanamura. I genuinely am. I want my boy to come in kicking hard. And I bet you there's loads of people going like, Miyazaki's done it again. They'd be like, excuse me, hold my coffee.
We're over in the corner being like, Yui or UI? Oh, yeah. Baby. He makes a game.
We were here all along. Let me... Did someone say Yui Tanamura? That's a name I haven't heard in the longest time.
Oh no.
There's an interesting comment underneath this, or those details that we've got. 2 comments. The first one says, ha ha ha, yes, I definitely believe this. And the one underneath it says, sounds better than Sekiro. So yeah. But Death's Gambit, Patrick.
Yeah. Well, this is a bit of a deep one now, because I played this in goddamn February. So
yeah, we were queuing this one up for a while, and then it just didn't
never quite got to it,
fall in, did it?
But yeah, I picked it up. It was on a sale for a $5 or something stupid, and I kind of had my eye on it for a bit. Again, it's like a 2D Souls game, and I think I played Salt and Sanctuary in the meantime. I thought that was pretty good. It was okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right.
Good for you.
I had fun with it. I beat it once, and that's the only time I'll do it. Yeah. I will say that much. But it was a good attempt at a Souls 2D kind of game. And Death's Gambit is trying to do a similar thing. So if Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania, then Death's Gambit is a Souls game. It's a very similar Souls setup. So you've got your checkpoints, your bonfires. You spend your money on leveling up. You don't acquire new powers per se. You acquire new gear. New weapons, new armor pieces, that sort of thing, and sort of mechanical stuff that gives you an edge in battle, but won't give you double jumps or wall jumping, any of that sort of stuff. You are very much limited to jump and your attack functions and rolling for the most part. So you are there aren't really that many platforming challenges to speak of. What it does have, that a lot of this game don't have, is an actual honest to god main character and an honest to god plot.
Okay, and the main character is good and the plot is worthy.
Yeah, the main character is not voiced for some reason, but everybody else is, which struck me as a little odd, because you pick your class at the start of the game, but you're the same guy. It literally changes nothing, from a plot standpoint. You will be, you start the game, you're dead, and you're resurrected by Death, who is a very sort of wolfish, cloaked and scything looking Death. He's very kind of capey, if that rings a bell. Artorias in terms of the head of him, with a sort of beaky, wolfy sort of face. Anyway, Death wakes you up and he's a sarky piece of shit. Throughout the game, he's actually funny. Okay. He even says at one point, now you must go and ring the 2 bells and fight that... No, I'm only kidding. Just go that way, it's fine.
Very cool.
It was really, really funny. At one point, he ends up in a chef's outfit. I can't remember the logic. I can't remember why now, but I'm like, why is Death in the kitchen?
I know we mentioned before about chasing the weird, but I celebrate this stuff. I celebrate things like purple... rainbow trousers and all this kind of stuff.
Chef Death.
I applaud it. Yeah.
There is a good plot going on about, guys his mum went away to war when he was young, and he's now joined the war later on and has died but been brought back. You have an item in your inventory, which is Death's Contract, which is what allows you to come back from death every time you die. You can rip that up if you want, and then you're in permadeath mode.
Oh, that's
you can say, nah, I'm playing this on one life, and you will die.
That's really cool.
But I thought it's a nice self-imposed challenge without saying, I'm not going to die, and if you die, I'll just honour rules, just start again. It's just nah, mate, fuck you. Very evocative, I thought, very clever. Several classes you can pick at the start of the game. You've got your sword boys, you've got your axe boy, there's the dual blades boy, which is what I picked, which was a reasonably good choice, but had its limitations. There's also a Death Acolyte, which is a bit different to your usual kind of classes, which is a big scythe boy, and it gives you the ability to repair broken Death statues. Death statues are your bonfires.
I got you.
So you can give yourself more checkpoints, which is infuriating when you watch somebody else playing that class and they're going, hang on, you can just save there, but I had to do the whole level to get there, and you can just go, done it. Jeremy. Jeremy.
Oh.
Jeremy, who I watched and picked the side class because he thought it looked cool, and then kept repairing checkpoints and breezing through the game like a twat. Jeremy. He beat in probably 4 hours what took me 4 days.
Oh.
I'm annoyed. Because like the blades I was using, it was either that I wasn't good at them or just they just couldn't output that much damage. You've got to be right up in someone's face to do damage, and like a lot of these guys have big swings. Like there's some big moves. The scythe or like the rangy weapons, which I found out much later, give you range. They give you the ability to hit from someone and stay back. Whereas the way I play, which is up in your grill, I just wasn't outputting enough damage to, I don't know, keep up. And I'm sure that it is balanced, that they are a good weapon. They work, when they do kick in, they're brilliant. But I found kicking them in was the hard point. I just didn't quite ever set with the rhythm. And by the point I'd realised I wasn't really that good with them, I'd already invested way too many of my upgrade materials into it, and it's a bit late to switch. Like the thing in Bloodborne, when you get to a point you're like, I like this new weapon, but it's going to take me hours to get it to the point where this weapon is.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to not bother. But that's kind of all by the way, because the boss fights are amazing. They're really, really good.
Because boss fights can be a strange beast at the best of times, but in 2D even more so. They,
apparently, from what I've heard, they designed the boss fights first and built the game backwards.
Okay.
From what I've heard, from what I believe I read. When the game was initially shown, it was shown off that you could, throw swords and climb the bosses. That never actually came to pass in the end. I don't think they could make it work. But what you actually end up doing is... I'll explain one, which is just a typical example of a good boss in this game. There was a boss I fought called Tundra Lord Cairn, okay? At the top of a... Yeah, I know, right? At the top of a snowy, icy mountain full of these horrible wolf monsters throughout the whole thing. It's a bit of a hard rush, but it was fun. So you get to the top, and you come across this sort of small, icy platform. And you hop on, and then Tundra Lord Cairn, who's this kind of goat man, big tall goat man, skull-faced goat man, jumps out and starts to fight you. The platform then starts to shift. It will start to seesaw, depending on where you both are. And if you're both on one side, it will seesaw quite heavily to that side, and you've got to get your ass and try and get him to come to the other side. If it gets too far, it falls off or you die. He does kind of various kind of jumping, snapping attacks as well. So you're kind of running around trying to balance out fighting him with also keeping the platform level so you don't fall off and both be fit. Then at certain points he'll jump off the platform and hang in the back, and he will throw ice from the back, which will land on the platform, and you've got to go over and break that ice before it knocks the platform over. It's brilliant. It's so exciting. It probably took me about 10 goes to beat the damn thing, because I again, with the weapons I had, I just couldn't do damage to the ice blocks fast enough. It was the ice blocks that got me. It was never him, it was always the ice blocks that got me. I got to the end, I beat the fight, and I just put the controller down and clapped. I was like, well done, video game.
That's always a wonderful sign.
There's a few more that have got, again, just cool ideas. There's one where you fight a giant, like a real big guy, and you've got to kind of dodge his moves and stab him in the ankle. And after a bit, a character who sat on his shoulder that you fought earlier jumps down to start fighting you as well. You're like, no, you can fuck off. Turns out she's the actual boss, he isn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, so he's still throwing this big sword down at you, and you're still running and going, please stop, you've got this horrible spear and you've got so much range, please don't hurt me, please. There's other cool stuff in there. Again, it just throws ideas at one point 4 or 5 bosses in, this is a fantasy game, okay, where you're like swords and wizards and stuff and shields and axes. You meet a cyber ninja with a gun and you're like, what the fuck? And that gets revealed later, but at the time, it is the first incidence of anything being sword and sorcery based, and it's like, I'm sorry, video game? What's this now?
Never explain it.
Oh yeah, there is some stuff. It does get there, but not for a while, and you're scratching your head over it for a while, because then it goes back to being a normal swords and sorcery after that. Like, well, what the fuck was that about? Like, it's just a teaser on something. I don't want to go into too much detail. There's certain levels where... There's certain points where a thing will happen in the game and you just get thrust somewhere. Like, cool, enjoy this now. And you've got to kind of deal with where you are. There's some real clever, tricky level design with, like, illusions and, like, things you've got to do in the level to make the level work. There's a astonishing bit later on where you realise the game has put some conditions on you that you didn't realise, and you can control how those conditions get applied and in what order they get applied. Yeah, it's genius. There is one other thing I will mention about the game which I liked a lot. There is a character, and I'm not going to say which one. There is a character you can buy things off of, okay? If you don't buy things off of them, they become hostile. Forever. They will chase you through the game, and you'll be doing something like, right, I've just got to get to the boss. Like, oh, fuck off, not you. Please, why are you here now? Why?
Can you kill them, or are they just like super OP?
Oh, they'll come back. Oh, you kill them, they come back. You can't get rid of them properly. Like, they keep coming back.
And that's all because you've not bought some...
Literally, first time I met them, I was like, I haven't really got any money. I'm fine. Fine, sod you then. Pulls out a sword like, whoa, 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 whoa. No. It happened to Jeremy as well. It happened to me. It was just really fun. Just like really funny when it happens. Again, the game is funny. Also, again, when it really wants to sort of double down on the serious stuff, it's really good. Like, it's got a real good plot going on, and you can probably sort of tell where it's going halfway through. You can kind of see what kind of solution you're being funneled towards. But yeah, I'd say it took me about a week, 2 weeks to get through. Sort of evenings and days off, just sort of playing idly here and there, and I had a really good time with it. Like, I haven't played it again since. Again, I've been sort of moving on to other things, but again, because we wanted to kind of, try games that we hadn't tried before this year, and, try things we weren't expecting, I thought I'd give this a go, and I'm glad it came off as well as it did. I thought it was really good. I would say if you're going to play it yourself, don't pick the daggers, maybe pick the scythe, because it looked like Jeremy was just breezing through it. The bastard.
Is that the easy mode?
It's easy mode. I mean, he only beat it because he was playing on easy mode.
Got you.
I mean, let's be fair. He's never won a Dick Week on One-Bro, has he? Let's just check.
Worst.
Let me just check the scoreboard here. Let's see how many times it was. 2 times we did it, and I won. Hang on, 1, 2. That's 2. I won both times. Yeah. So, scrub.
What can you do, eh?
Putting Jeremy on blast. It's a classic Twin Humanities episode.
that gentleman has a lot to answer for.
His words and deeds.
He will do. I'm doing it surreptitiously in my new film, which is a cross between Stephen King's Misery and A Star Is Born, where I discover Chris Mosier, but Jeremy invites him to his house, breaks his ankles, and then forces him to watch Supernatural.
And then forces him to perform all sorts of interesting faces.
Yeah, you can stop there. Don't tread all over my gag.
Ah.
So yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like my sort of thing. I'll go for that.
Okay. Sorry, I'm watching the film in my head still.
Yeah, that's been in my head for a while. I giggled. I was like, is that too horrible? But like, no, it's not. It's for this moment, clearly. So, Dark Souls Trilogy Compendium. I may have mentioned this before. It's a new guide released early June. It's not just a remastered version of the previous guides. And the Dark Souls 3 one, which was heavily criticised, wasn't Future. It was Prima, I think, and they made a bit of an arse of it. But yeah, this one's apparently got loads of new bits by EMB, Varty, Dave Klein, German Spy, and other good peeps from the Souls community. I remember EMB playing through Scholar for the first time a while ago and giving a tip of the hat towards the arrival of this without saying it. He'd been close to the development of Dark Souls 2 and had worked on the initial guide for it, but at that point hadn't played the remixed iteration in Scholar. So it was a really fun stream to watch with him noting the stuff that he liked, the things that he didn't, what worked in retrospect, and his time with the original game. The Compendium is a beautiful thing. Up-to-date stats and maps and lore and slipcase and 4 pieces of artwork as well. It's a nice thing. I think it was delayed a few times until early June, but it's certainly had some love put into it, shall we say.
Interesting. I like that they updated it, because I've got the Dark Souls 1 guide. Laura found it in a charity shop for £1 last year at some point. She's like, do you want it? I was like, of course I want it. Don't be stupid. And like, I haven't actually properly dug into it. I've looked at some of the artwork in there. I've not really dug into it. And like, I'd love to see how much of it is now wrong.
Well, of course, I mean,
because of balancing and patches and all that sort of stuff. I'd like to see how much of it doesn't work anymore.
I'm still curious to stick in the original Dark Souls, not let it update, and to play that original version again, the one with less warp points, with the fella when you walk into who runs for that gate in the opening area and locks it behind you. He was patched out.
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
What, in the parish?
Yeah, he runs
he's still
through
there.
and locks the gate. I haven't seen him.
He's still bloody there. I'm sure he is.
What?
So I got annoyed at him last time I played. Like, we got through the wanker.
I'd love to stick in a very original version of Dark Souls and just see how I get on with it.
The one all the journos won't stop talking about.
Yeah, well, I think they played a version before that, which was even harder. But it's a shame that you can't dial these things back at certain points to go. So say you could see a number of versions in a menu, and they could essentially say, look, you're not going to be able to go online with this one, but this is the state that the journalists had it. This is the opening launch one. It's because they're points in Soul's history and stuff, and the game with patches changed quite dramatically. So and it was that opening one that I played without all the warp points and stuff. They were far less. But yeah, I'm quite nostalgic to go back to that. But yeah, anyway, the guide is really, really nicely done, and those pieces of artwork are gorgeous. So very nice indeed.
Excellent.
Patrick, the Immortal Unchained DLC.
Oh, okay. So we should probably put in a corruption warning here. Corruption alert. We are corrupt. The guys at Immortal Toadman were very, very nice.
They sent us this DLC. They said thank you for us being super passionate
vocal
about the game, which was lovely and unexpected. And still think Immortal Unchained is a bit of a belter, and I'm glad if we could do anything to get that in the hands of other folks. That's was a nice thing.
It was nice seeing people buy it and then also get it. I know we talked about that at length in the past, but like it was nice seeing people buy it based on what we said. And there's always that worry of like, oh, I hope they like it. I hope they're not wasting their money. Oh God, I hope they like it. And then, oh, I like it. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
I think this also tied into. Well, it definitely kicked us on in a direction of. How shall I put it? Seeing the kind of plight of the single A and the double A game, and just the difficulties that they got in the market, and also we were seeing reviews of this which didn't correlate to the game that we were playing.
Yeah, absolutely. We sort of took it on its own merit. I think other reviews compared it to. Oh, I wonder which game they compared it to. It kind of pushed us in the way of like Elix and Outward and all these. Yeah. Similar games that I probably wouldn't have given a second look, honestly. In this age of everything's AAA and everything's coming out all the time, every month. Here's 8 games each month that are massive budget that you have to play. No.
If something has sort of a few rough edges on it, I don't particularly mind that, because there'll be moments where the ambition just makes you go like, oh my God. And, I've been watching a lot of Co-Carnage recently, and with him saying that he really loves video games, and he likes to find the things to love in a video game. And he can tell you about the things that he doesn't think works, but it's not going to be like ZOMFG, this game is shite. And clickbait stuff. He'll have a conversation with you, and he'll tell you all about it. But I mean, I saw a recent one with Sinking City.
Oh yeah, the Lovecraft thing.
Yeah, which again is apparently sort of a little bit of a flawed gem, and looks absolutely like both of our thing. But I I find these sort of games intriguing, and this one, the original Immortal Unchained, you saw in a video, turned me on to it, and we both just went, "Oh, this is a bit special. This is Demon Souls special."
A YouTube advert of all things, a YouTube autoplay advert of all things, was not what I expected to find a cool game. Did not expect it.
So how did you approach the DLC?
Very slowly.
Did you remember sort of where you left off, or did you remember your controls? Did they destroy you from the start?
I got a lot wrong. We've talked about this in the past, about playing similar games a lot at the same time. We'll get there in a bit. But when we played for Monster Hunter: The Dauntless, there's a bit of control bleed where things don't quite work the same machine to machine. So you think, right, I'm going to roll out the way. Why did I drink a potion? I wanted to roll. Beans, I've done it wrong. There was a bit of that when I first booted this up. I couldn't quite remember the controls and how things worked. And I picked up my first character I played with, the very first one I used, which I never actually took into New Game Plus, because I don't really tend to do New Game Plus that often these days. I just like to beat it and be done. So I picked that character up. I had to look up how to get to the DLC, because I think just skip past the thing that tells you how to get to it. I was like, well, whoops. So I looked up where to get to it. It's good, is the thing. I think, because I haven't played with that character since I beat the game, there have been some stat patch boosts type things. Luckily, the game let me keep my weapons on. If I'd have swapped them out, I wouldn't have been able to re-put them on, because suddenly my stats were too low to hold the weapons I was actually holding.
Okay.
I'm like, this is out of balance, hasn't it? I'm going to level up those stats very quickly. I was only 1 or 2 points off each one, but I was like, I'm going to level up my finesse, because I still want to use this gun, and if I find something else I like, I'd want to be able to put this back on.
I remember stepping away from the original game, hearing that a patch for the sniper was coming, like a really big buff for the snipers, and I was waiting for that and waiting for it, and I think, eventually it was, Christmas at retail, and all hell broke loose. But
that patch is here and it's great.
Oh yeah, I know it's here. I'm more than
it's great.
It's here.
It's just getting back to it, isn't it? The Stormbreaker DLC is a whole new area of the game. Much like the original, I've got these 3, massive areas, the 3 main massive zones. It is of similar size, I think, in terms of how long it took me to get through it. Like, it took me 4 or 5 hours to really plug through the whole zone. There's new enemy types in it. You've got one that has a fucking stand. Like, you run up to this standard-looking zombie, and then a ghost blue zombie will appear next to it. You're like, I'm sorry, there's 2 of you now. It took Laura to point out that he had a stand. I'm like, he has a stand! Of course he has a stand! They've been listening. There's also a new enemy called the Shield Guy. I hate the Shield Guy. Oh, he's awful. Oh, he's a bastard.
Is Paddy in the DLC?
Apparently so.
Everybody.
So Immortal will put up on their Twitter account, they'll do like an enemy showcase where they'll put up either an enemy and say, what's this one called? And I'll always, chime in with like, exploding green bastard, or sniper prac, or teleporting wanker. Not the real names. Names that I think are good. And sometimes they'll do a post where they'll just put a picture up of an enemy and say, this is the so-and-so, this is what it does. Today, I have been owned. I have been fully, irrevocably owned into the sun.
Wait, is that how the kids say it?
I have been pawooned, yes. They put up a picture of a character, I believe, called the Blaster, or Berserker, or B something. I can't remember now. Because everything else is overwritten in my brain. A blue-looking guy with a mountainous-looking gun in his arm. I can hear you looking for it. And they go, this is our enemy called this. We call him Paddy, though. I was like, wait a fucking second.
They didn't even deny it.
Yeah, I was like, and they just put laughing emojis underneath.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tobman. That makes me feel special. And you've now blown up my spot, so I kind of feel like I can't do the joke anymore.
We also need to see video footage of Paddy versus Paddy when it happens. And
I'll fuck him up.
Yeah.
I'll fuck him up. You come get some.
No, you've got to record it when it happens.
I'll have a... Well, I've probably already gone past... Because so for reference, I've gotten to the end boss of the DLC, okay? The DLC area is really good. It's like a big sort of fortress on the side of an ocean, and the ocean sides have been kind of blasted aside like what's the word? Who parted the seven seas?
Moses,
that's the one. I was going to say Midas. Moses.
Do you know how I know that? Because I played Moses as a child in a play, wearing my dressing gown and having it might even have been a clothes prop that I used. He might have had something different. But yeah, one of my acting triumphs.
There you go, Moses. Congratulations.
Yeah, right.
The reviews are in.
It wasn't the Charlie Bucket that I would eventually grow famous for, but.
No, let's not start down this road, because I did drama at school as well, and we could end up down a dark path doing this conversation.
Wearing my purple corduroy suit with sky blue patches sewn in on my bowl haircut.
Oh my god!
I got a golden ticket.
Wow. So there's also in the level. There's new enemy types as well. There's scorpion things that kind of run at you. There's a guy that summons scorpion things, which is he's a wanker. Oh, he's a wanker. There's like a big cliffside area. There's a kind of real built-up city bit where you're kind of breaking through defences. There's a minefield section, which is huge. Then you kind of descend into this big sort of, water valley that's been constructed, which is really, really cool. Make your way through what feels like an old abandoned battleship. Like an old, imagine a submarine had beached itself, a massive submarine, and you go inside and everything's leaky and dank.
I've seen that. It looks good.
Dank is the word. There's a boss in there, which is basically this game's Capra Demon, I think. Big boy, big hammer, small room. And you drop in. It's like, I think he's called the Drowned Commander, I think it was. It's been a while. Again, I played this probably 3 months ago now when it came out. He's a big boy. Oh, he's a thick boy. And the way I play is kind of up and in your face with my auto shotguns, and it's not a good place to be with him. Being near him is bad, because he has a big hammer, and he knocks you on your face many times. But I beat it. I felt good about myself. I beat it, and I kind of progressed through, and you kind of hit this big lift up into the actual Stormbreaker itself, which is this big weapon that the Degonites, kind of the old enemy from the first, from the main game, have kind of dropped in years and years ago, and it seems to have woken up again, and you've got to investigate what's going on. You kind of got this massive great lift at the top, and you're kind of basically in a prison complex. There's like enemies in cages everywhere, and there's the shield guys kind of patrolling the halls, and there's these big kind of like energy pipe tunnels you can go into and walk around in. It's really cool. Like, you really kind of go through and kind of unlock, like Latria in Demon's Souls. It's a bit like that. There's levels, and you can see platforms you can't quite get to yet, but there's something there that's useful, and you can get there, and you find a key like, ooh, hang on, I think I know where that goes, but I've got no health left. Shall I go now, or shall I risk it? I shouldn't have risked it, I died. So you're going to make your way through there. There's a bonus optional boss underneath this area you can drop down to, who is basically the Drowned Captain again, a big hammer guy in an even smaller area, and I, to this day, have not beaten him. I haven't beaten him yet, he's very difficult. I did try and kind of cheese him from above, but it doesn't work because the shield guys see you and throw bombs. Like, I see. And as you kind of make your way up, you can kind of meet a couple of characters on the way up as well, who are, again, cool. They've got lots of dialogue, lots of interesting dialogue going on. There's fun stuff going on. You make your way to the top, and you meet Asarg, who's the guy that's taken over the fortress. And again, I must say, I've not yet beaten him. He's quite difficult. It's a good fight, but it is quite difficult. He's like a big, almost like an NCP from Tron. Okay. Glowing face in the wall to start with, and then as you kind of take out the power things around him, he kind of jumps up on the stage and fights you proper. Yeah, I haven't got its rhythm. I haven't quite got its rhythm yet. And again, I think part of that is I had enjoyed. I probably played, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8, maybe 10 hours to get to this point again. So I'd kind of found my rhythm with the game again, but I don't know, maybe I wasn't on when I was playing it. I just couldn't get the measure of him just yet. I've not beaten it yet. I've kind of put it to a side for a while because I'm playing some other stuff, but I will go back to it. But I do want to beat him because it was a fun fight. Just difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you just can't quite get it. But
there's still that momentum and that desire to keep pushing on.
Definitely. But for me,
it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, this DLC as a whole is basically, hey, did you like Immortal Unchained? This is some more of it, and it's the good bits. Not that there were many bad bits for me, but it's the stuff that works. It's cool levels. There's kind of evocative stuff going on. There's lore that I'm actually interested in. For God's sake, I actually was interested in reading lore documents about this. I was looking through all the things I picked up, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that means that's that person. Oh, that could mean this. I don't do that anymore. I don't have the patience for it, and I did it again with this. Just genuinely, I had a lot of fun with it, and I do get annoyed at the shield guys. The shield guys can eat my farts. I don't like the shield guys, but even that notwithstanding, I had a real good time going through this, and yeah, I love it. I love it, and that is Captain Corruption speaking here. But I really like it. I really like it. Toadman, you've done a very good job. Please, can I be in the sequel? Are you in the? Can I actually? I know you made a joke about the breaker or the demolisher being called Paddy, and that's what you call him in the office, which is really nice. But can I just be in it? Can I be in it? Can I please? Please?
Are you
can
sure?
I?
Are
please?
you sure that, given that one report we saw that they were working on a Metal Gear Solid type game that was a sequel or a
project
reimagining
IGI
of an old PS1 game? Yeah, wouldn't you rather be in that?
But I like Immortal Unchained a lot, though.
I know you do.
I do. I like Project IGI. Which, do you know what IGI stands? Do you know what IGI stands for? I'm going in.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a stealth kind of tactics-based thing, which I don't think I'd be very good at because it looks like a first-person shooter, and I'm not very good at those as a rule. No, let me be an Immortal. Come on, please. Go on, please. I'll be your friend. Go on, please.
God, that sounds really pathetic.
I'll even voice act it for free. There you go.
Wow.
Oh no! It's a Degonite!
Yeah.
To the cannons!
Who could turn you down?
Laura.
So The Surge 2 is building up a bit of buzz, and from what I've seen, it looks really interesting.
I must say, I've not yet looked at The Surge 2 because it was completely off my radar until today.
Likewise, until recently, and I think this is what's turned my head towards the original. But yeah, there's full character creator in there this time, which makes me more interested from the off. The look of it caught me off guard. Initially, all I'd seen was sort of a forest area, but devs have shown off a city level, which puts me in mind of the first Division, but with the level of fantastical involved that gives me sort of tickles of Crisis 2, which I adored. Might give others a bit of Half-Life 2 vibe, maybe. Saw an amazing fight where a statue transformed into a robot. And Matthew Castle of Rock Paper Shotgun went on to say that the AI will adapt its attack pattern based around whichever weapons and limbs it still has.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, so I like that.
And literally it was this statue that didn't just sort of come to life and start walking off its plinth. It started breaking apart, the head broke apart and the arms sort of widened and it literally snapped into an automaton. But if it's, say, firing a gun at you or something and you delimb the gun, it will reconfigure itself to attack with what it's got left.
That's cool.
I thought it was really smart. I think back in the day, I think we were a bit sceptical because it was the Lords of the Fallen devs, which I still haven't gone near that game and actually formed my own opinion on. And at that point, I think it was, it's more Dark Souls, but by someone else. But I think that Immortal Unchained may have made me more open to try these sort of games. And let's face it, we're broadening out quite a bit these days into your Outwards, your Hollow Knights.
We are.
But I think as From has kind of really focused in on its core fan base, I think we're quite happy to see sort of the stuff that's influenced by Souls and just go, right, let's have a bash at that. And I've really enjoyed those games on the outskirts, sort of quite a bit. So, and part of me just thinks that maybe we were just falling in with the hive mind a little bit and maybe being a bit snobby, but also we've always loved Dark Souls 2, which is the black sheep of the family. So, but the Surge 2 looks really good. And the weird thing is, though, why would you release on the same day as Code Vein?
Oh.
Exactly the same day.
Oh, guys.
That just seems bizarre. I don't understand it. I don't know if one of them settled on a date and the other one had settled on a date, and then they both just went, oh, well, and you can't really. It's like those two sort of cars going down a road towards one another. You can't be the one that pulls away to go like, oh, we're not launching on that day now because Code Vein's launch, because it makes you look weaker. Especially depending on whether you push a game forward or push a game back. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of that they neither of them realised that the other was launching on that day.
But you can't give ground, can you? Because that'll just mean everyone buys the other one, and then they might not buy the one that you do. And if you say, "Oh, we're delaying it to make it better," they'll go, "Oh, well, I'll buy this one then because it's out now." You can't win. That's frustrating.
If anything, the stuff that I've heard about the sequel, and I was the same as you with regards to that statue thing, because it does look amazing. It made me actually play the Surge. So it's been on my mind a bit of late. It's been on PS Plus. It turned up on Game Pass.
Ding.
Fancied it. Fancied having a pop at it. Yeah, take a drink. So I stuck it on a few days ago and found that I sunk hours into it. Shocking opening. Shocking in a holy fuck kind of way. And it certainly brought me into the story. Thus far, they've not really given me any more than that opening story-wise, with this set fellow we've been dealt with by default, Warren. No character creator in there, and I'm not sure why. I think you could have still done that opening with the character that you've created, because they don't do much more than scream at that point. So I don't know.
Maybe it comes up later. For full disclosure, yes, I've been playing it as well today, so we can talk about things in a bit more.
Oh, cool.
Deets if you want. That's fine.
Yeah. The feel is very 2000 AD Star-Lord, quite the future shock, where a disabled man travels to another planet to join the workforce, where he's promised the ability to walk in exchange for helping to build the new frontier. Except something's gone wrong, the people have gone mad, the robots have gone awry, and you're very much on your own.
I will say, the reveal of the fact that he's in a wheelchair was amazing.
Superbly done.
Right? So you see the intro, oh, we are Creo, we're making a new world, you can come join us, and you're sitting on a train and just watching the standard bullshit tech company promo video on the way in, and the train pulls in, and you can't see anything other than your head and shoulders, and when you finally get control, you can move, you just start wiggling off oh!
Yeah, and it's so classily done, and it controls really well at that point, and you see how clean that the train is, and how clean the train station is, and you go into another room and you accept the fact that you're going to join up, and they promise you the ability to walk with this brand new technology, and then they pin you down in a chair and literally drill things into you. And it's shocking and it's brilliant. It's
because the computer says sedation complete, and he goes, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And the stuff starts coming down, oh no, this is happening. They're drilling him now.
Yeah, and they do all that stuff with drilling the parts to his arms and to his legs and stuff, and you're like, holy fuck. And then the camera cuts to the back of his head, and you see the neural implants going in, and you're like, oh,
that looks horrible. I did think this was a clever bit of tutorialising to get you there as well, because I think it's going to sound bad. The fact you're in a wheelchair means rather than having put guards at every walkway, so you can't go this way, go that way, they just put some stairs in. It's well, gosh, I've got to go that way then, haven't I? I thought that was
didn't
elegant.
Consider that.
Yeah, I thought it was elegant and I have to go the only way I can go.
But I thought it was a very concise way of getting you into the horrors of it, and then them just letting you go. Because it's such a this is really pretty. Oh look, I'm actually in a wheelchair, and then it's the horrors of having that stuff drilled and pinned to you, and then off you go. And there's still that level of holy fuck, that happened.
Well, there's this whole it kind of cuts out. It's it's failed, he's failed, everything's gone wrong. And you kind of just wake up in a scrapyard. I will say, which one did you pick of the little one or the big one? Because you get to choose what kind of stuff you want to start out with, don't you?
Do you?
Yeah, you can choose either there's Lynx on one side or there's Rhino on the other. Or Goliath, sorry. There's like a small boy or a thick boy.
I don't remember. I think I probably went with Lynx. I don't know.
Okay, because I think Lynx is on the left and Goliath or Rhino, whichever one it's called, is on the right.
Rhino is the other one because I've picked up some Rhino parts now.
Oh, I picked Sturdy Boy because I know who I am.
Interesting, because as I've gone on into the game and I've found the Rhino parts, I found that automatically I was doing the thing where, it's got bigger stats. This is the one for me. This is going to be the thing that progresses me. And I got the Rhino arms, which allow you to hit harder, and I was like, yep, that's it. And when I got the Rhino leg pieces, they were actually slowing me down. They were giving me defense, but they were slowing me down. So I've got the Lynx leg pieces on, which give me faster dodge and faster speed, and take away less stamina, because I was finding that the attacks that I was doing when I got the Rhino leg pieces on, I was running out of stamina before I could kind of truly finish people off.
Interesting.
So yeah, that level of mix and match was nice because it's not just, here's your top stat, which is your defense one, which, most people would look at the big number and just go, yeah, of course, that number's bigger than that number. But I found that because I was hitting harder with the arm pieces, but I had more dash and more stamina with the leg pieces, that was an interesting mix and match, and something that kind of threw me off guard, but it wasn't difficult to approach that when I started figuring things out.
Yeah. I have gone big boys, big toys for the whole thing, because I like the pace. I did try out the baby leggings as well, the Lynx leggings as well. I actually preferred it slower.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. It is very
slower,
methodical.
Yeah. And as long as you take guys one by one, you can manage them. 2-on-1 situations are where you should be worried in this game, but I just liked it, and I have found something else which I'll tell you about in a bit as well, which you're going to hate me for. But yeah, the heavy armor I've found so far, I like, and I like the weapons I've found. I mean, but we're maybe getting ahead of ourselves. So the game wakes you up in a scrapyard, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've been binned, and it's very clearly something's not right because it's a shithole. And this is supposed to be the new fabulous colony that's starting off, the world. We're going to fix the world, and it's this does not look fixed.
I'll say to you now, I really like the world building and the level design. I really like the sense of design anyway, because it's almost got that mirrored edge look about it, but also as if somebody's just thrown that in the corner.
Spray painted it and thrown some rubbish bags over it.
Have
you seen all the spray paint everywhere? All the kind of the promotional signs that they've done over?
Yeah. Some of them are really good. You'll never want to leave, and they've crossed out we'll never want to.
You'll never leave.
Never leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one touchstone that I had early on, which I didn't expect, got a bit of a Dead Space vibe. I mean, yeah.
I agree. I got that as well with it.
I mean, in the same way as Dead Space must have got shit in certain factions because it followed on from Resident Evil 4's template. And you can, to the uninitiated, you can carve off limbs of your enemies, and you can use the right stick to sort of run through head, arms, body, and legs. I didn't realise there was legs until later on today.
I didn't realise it was body for a long time.
And some of those items will be armoured, and others won't. And the ones that aren't are the weak points. But oftentimes, if you're going for an item that is armoured, say the enemy's got a weapon on their right shoulder, you can not only get that weapon, but it will drop something that you can then turn into tech scrap, which is the essentially like the version of souls. So you get tech scrap for killing enemies anyway, but if you've got extra items that you've already gotten, or broken versions that you've snapped off people, if you go back to the med bay, it will turn those into to tech scrap anyway.
extract out all the useful stuff as well. Like, you'll get a couple of crafting Titanite shards, but there's leg versions and head versions and arm versions and body versions, and you need the particular version. So if you want to make some leg armor, go cut off some legs. If you want to make some head armor, go stove in some brains.
Do you like the thing whereby you can get the schematics for, say, a lynx leg or a rhino leg, but if you've got one of them, you just copy it? And I just thought that was really cool.
You just turn the blueprint over and make it backwards. There we go. Now I've got a left leg. I thought that was clever, and I think the way that you get bits is like, look at the enemy. Does he have something new on? Yes. Hit that. Knock that off, and then you'll get the blueprint.
That's something that took me off guard until quite late in proceedings, really, when I got further into the level, and there was suddenly some very quick boys, and when I started cutting bits off of them, they were dropping the rhino stuff, and one of them had got like the Wolverine claws as well. But also they were dropping, I think it's called like Tungsten Mark II, which is the stuff that you need to upgrade your items beyond the first level, and the quick boys are the only boys that drop it.
I will say, I found another boy.
Are we talking about the boy with the hammer?
No.
Have you found the hammer boy?
I found him one time in the scary dark place. I should say, I didn't realise, I didn't find body armour until at least 3 hours in. Because I didn't realise you could target body. I was targeting arm or leg or head. If you tap down on the right stick, it targets body. Because I'm like, I've got everything else, but why is there no body armour? And I googled it. I was like, oh, now I feel dumb. Immediately got some blueprints for body armour, which means you can put lights on. But I didn't know about that. So there's a part of the first level you get to. I mean, I've not beaten a boss yet, so I'm still kind of exploring the first level. It's very dark, and as you go down, you get a tooltip on the wall that says put on your suit light with down. I was like, okay, cool. I tap down. It's like, we don't have any body armour on yet. You can't do that. I'm like, well, okay. But I do have this weapon, this sort of arm-mounted glowing blue electric thing. Okay. I can't remember what it was called now, but it's kind of like, it's mounted on top of your arm and you kind of swing it. Kind of a bit like a mace, almost, if it was similar to another kind of weapon. It's not, you don't hold it in the same way, but it kind of has that effect. And it glows up, not far around you, only like a 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot maybe, area around you. But it glows like, well, I can probably manage with this, can't I? So I head off into the dark. I got a trophy for that, I think. He's like, oh, it's blue light. I was like, wait, did that just recognise that I've gone in with no lights? That's clever.
Cool.
So I went in.
It's pretty scary when you go underground as well. Like,
fucking
you just
terrifying.
See, like, certain lights on. It's great, yeah.
Is your suit light good? Because my weapon light is bad. It's really bad. Like, it's like doing Tomb of the Giants with the very, very rubbish light.
The lights on the suit, do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's shit. So I managed to fight my way down the bottom. I found the guy with the hammer, which I thought was a really fun moment, but didn't get his hammer. I was kind of a bit panicked. I was like, oh shit. And before I knew what happened, he was dead. Which was a bit of a shame. But I did find the generator to turn the power on in that dark area, so I can now go through it normally.
Oh, I've not found that.
Just go down. Just keep going down. There's a horrible, horrible boy down there, but if you've got enough suit levels, which you do, there's literally a generator. You can turn it on and you can just do it.
Is that the one with a kind of acid floor?
No.
Are you talking that far down?
No, I went a different direction. It's a bit further on. There's 2 or 3 different ways into it, I think. So I've gone the long way through.
There's a speedy boy by one of the generators.
That could be the area. Yeah, he kind of jumps on you.
But it's not. I don't think the lights have gone on in all of the darker areas.
It's better than it was. It's a lot better than it was.
Okay, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, maybe it's not all of it, but like the bits I went through again, I was like, oh, I can actually see things now. This is good. So yeah, I've not found a boss yet. I've been kind of tiddling around, getting used to my movesets. I've tried a few different weapons out. I tried the chainsaw blade and thought that was okay, but didn't quite settle with it. I picked up a few other things as well, which I'm not sure about. I've tried the spear out, which is kind of a very... He's almost doing like Chinese spear fighting moves, which is quite fun, like kind of whipping it around his neck and stuff, which is kind of fun, but doesn't really work for me.
And they all play very differently, and I like the fact that they're seemingly... they don't spell it out to you, but there are combos for each weapon. Like I'm sure with the sort of Wolverine claws one, there's one where I forget what the combination of sort of right one and sort of right two is, but there's a bit where you attack and you'll kind of run up somebody's chest and jump backwards, and like do a somersault backwards to put a bit of distance between you.
The one I'm using, the heavy like arm mounted mace lightning rod. I think if you do, I can never remember the actual combo of it because I always seem to do it by accident. Attacks 2 or 3 times and then does like a cool jump kick. I'm like, yes, mate. Drop kick that electric zombie.
I mean, my favourite thing with the hammer, like the hammer hits super hard. But my favourite thing is the point where an enemy sees you and starts running towards you. I'll jump towards the enemy and literally smack him in the stomach with a hammer. And like, poof, and it knocks them like way out of their attack pattern. And you know, there's a certain animation in there as well where he will uppercut with a hammer and put them into the air and then punt them across the scenery like playing sort of human baseball, and it's delicious.
Is there a charge? Does the hammer, because you can actually charge your attacks if you hold the button down? On my weapon I can. The R2 is delicious. Yeah, the R2 attack, the vertical one. My arm mace is just like, it's disgusting.
But they don't feel like they're just sort of canned animations. Like there seems to be a drift and a distance and a weight to doing these things. And I think that's one of the things that's taken me off guard. Is it's fun to fight, and whilst we prejudge this as a Souls-like game or a Souls clone. It feels the combat feels really great, and it's surprising how much fun it is to play and how much fun it is to grind an area and just knock boys about.
Have you tried the hop yet?
The Bloodborne like dash.
No. So when you block with L1, right?
Yeah.
If you use the right stick and hit up or down, you either hop or duck.
No.
Yeah, I've not found a use for it yet. But
no, that's really good.
Like, it seems to be another way of dodging or blocking rather than kind of, hopping and... Because you don't roll, per se. You kind of do more of a jump, don't you? Like, more of a... Which more of a... Like a Bloodborne quick step. Like you said, like a quick step. It's more like that. Which I think is better because, you're rolling around. You might break your gear.
Well.
It's
super responsive.
It's fast. Even though I'm playing as a slow class, it kind of... Or a slow build, should I say. It's responsive. And I like that you can... build your guy the way you want as well, with the various pieces of armour, but also with the augments you can put on.
The augments,
using your core power.
To give people an idea, sort of, the enemies drop tech scrap, which is the game's version of Souls, which you can use to level up. This actually levels your power core, which is what powers all of the items you want to plug in, be they weapons or armour for head, body, legs and arms. And you have to have enough. You're essentially turning yourself into a generator to be able to run those. And as you level up your power core, you unlock more of these augments, which are a little bit sort of near automata, aren't they? Like you're plugging in chips to be able to do.
That's spot on. I hadn't twigged. That's dead on. Yeah, because your gear, like your arms and your legs, take up power, and so do your chips.
But also, as you play with a weapon, you become more proficient at it, and that levels up your proficiency with a weapon on its own. Like aside from leveling up your power core and stuff, which I think is super different and really well done. You've also
get better by using the thing. It's just
and
it seems so simple when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Like
it really encourages you to just go out and have fun, and there's some interesting twists to keep you going rather than cashing. I like that you can bank your tech scrap. I think that's really cool.
It's genius. You can go back to your home base and put all the money you've picked up in a pile. It's like, yes. Oh, by the way, my weapon type is called single rigged. I just googled it. It's called single rigged. Is the kind of weapon I'm using. It's like an arm mounted smacker.
Have you seen the twin-rigged one, which are the Wolverine claws?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Dutty.
If you carry a lot of tech scrap with you, rather than banking it, the game tempts you to keep going by kicking out a few buffs to make you stronger or better or more as you push on. Sort of a nice risk and reward. If you get killed, your scrap remains where you died, get back to it and pick it up again, all very familiar, except you have a time limit to get back to it, and rather than that being just like a particular rush to get there, you get extra time for any enemy you defeat, possibly more time if you're going on a bit of a killing spree and building up tech scrap as you go. It's really smart, and
That's
I like
clever.
it.
Encourages you to take more time and go, ooh, I'll push it a bit more, I've actually built like, implant setups to allow me to kind of go farm for a bit longer.
Okay.
Because like the basic one you get a basic 3 heal, which gives you 3 healing jabs, which you can activate pretty quick. There's no delay on that. You can just kind of fire them off when you've got a free second, and they just work.
I like that it's not then you're not putting them in your hand and like a. It is just literally like
button and you
straight away.
It's the future. It should work that quick.
Yeah,
but you can equip more than one of the same one. So if you equip another one, you can have 6. If you equip another one, you can have 9. They cost you, suit power, but you're not limited by only having 3 ever. There's one that recovers slowly over time, like a life gem type thing, which I don't actually think are very good, but they are very, very cheap in terms of suit power. The 3 regular heals cost 3, whereas the 3 slow heals cost 1. So if you're doing some slow farming and you want to kind of have a bit more space for some kind of more damaging, abilities you want to chuck on, do that.
I need to look at my augments because I really haven't gone into this in the level that you have, and that sounds smart.
You should dig in. Well, the reason I've gone in so hard on it is because I spent a lot of time in this first level. I mean, I've played about 4 or 5 hours today in the first level. I found someone in the first level, very, very, very near to the med bay. So I was kind of wandering around, picking up some scrap. I wanted to kind of level myself up a bit to give myself some more, ability to take some bigger stuff on. Because I like my heavy gear, but I was kind of approaching my top limit, so I wanted to level up a bit just so I could do that. And that's going okay. It's taking a bit of time, but it'll give me a bit of a kick to push through, and I am ready to go on. So early on in the first level, around the corner, you can find like a big mechanical digger, which is an enemy, which initially looks unbeatable. You hit it and it does 1 damage. So like, okay, I'll come back here later.
Yeah, I did that.
So I did, and I went back and I worked out where you have to hit it to kill it. It turns out just on the side, there's like little tanks on the side. If you hit the tanks, it does real damage. And it was a bit difficult still because there's a little flying thing over the side that's annoying. You've got to take rid of that first.
There's also a control panel on the side as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
if you smash the control panel in, that does that. That's how I got rid of it.
Ah, well, I killed it eventually. It took me a few goes to do because it is a big boy. If you take a hit the wrong way, it kind of puts out this little gas as well that makes your stamina drain. So you can run up, hit it once to be, oh shit, I'm out of stamina. Oh god, it's going to hit me. Oh, I can't move. I'm dead. Which is kind of a clever attack, I thought. And that's a one and done. Once it's done, it's gone. But around the corner from him, if you stray just up and to the right, there is a Spaceman Gundam man.
What?
You are so impossibly close to something incredibly cool. I can't believe you didn't trigger it by accident, because that's what I did.
Okay. I'll be on this later.
So basically, up around that corner is what looks like a Gundam, but with like an orange round head on it. Like it's a bloke. It's a standard bloke, but he's a big boy, and he's got one of those arm weapons on that I've got, the single rigged ones, which is basically a long. It looks almost like a long, thin shield, like the back of a bug. But it's so in Destiny, right? You know the Suros weapons, the white and red, really smooth, curved ones. Imagine that if it was a giant mech suit.
And you can fight this?
You can fight him. He's strong, but you can beat him. The arm pieces, CJ, now this may tempt you, the arm pieces on the shoulders have giant fuck-off tanks on each shoulder, like barrels sticking out the back, like a Gundam.
How did I miss this?
It's literally, he's just sitting there, maybe 10 yards away from this big digger. I only triggered him by accident because I kind of backed off, and then there was this white thing hitting me, like, whoa, what the fuck? And he is, don't get me wrong, he's strong. But he is close enough that you can go straight to him, knock him down, pick up his shit, knock it all off, and you can then go and build it. He also drops all, and I mean all, of the level 2 upgrade materials. You've got to farm him for a while. You've got to do it for a while. But I now have a fully kitted out pair of arms, pair of legs, and chest piece, all at level 2, including a weapon at level 2. I'm just working on the helmet, and I need to upgrade my capacity because I can't kind of put it on because it's 5 slots to put on. It's very, very consuming of your power. Each piece is like 5, so it's very, very big. But I am a Gundam. I'm now a Gundam. I'm
level 44, so I might be.
You will be okay. You will be fine. I'm level 36.
Jesus Christ! What?
Yeah, I've been busy.
Right,
I just did this over and over until I got it. Yeah.
This ties into the fact that when I started playing this, it's quite funny that we're almost like mirror images of one another with regards to like Hollow Knight and this. That I expected to just have a look at this so I could, because I knew what I'd seen with Surge 2, and I wanted to just go like, right, I've got these preconceptions. I don't know if we've been snobby with this sort of stuff before. It'd be fun to kick this on. I've got it. I can play it. And then before I knew it, like hours had gone by. Hours, and I was really, really enjoying playing it. And I think that the combat is some of the best that I've ever seen in one of these games. It's really good, and it doesn't seem generic at all. It seems like, yeah, you can see the template like deep underneath it, but there's enough over the top that's very much its own.
It's hard hitting, but it feels like it's balanced. Like it feels like you can beat it if you pay attention.
And I've always loved that retro tech type stuff. So seeing, bits being bolted onto people that are literally made out of cable and bits of metal and stuff, it's pretty cool. But I know that ties into your love of that kind of sci-fi as well. So did any of that?
It's a bit like Robo Hunter. 2000 AD Robo Hunter. I'm getting a bit because the guy even looks a bit like Sam Slade. Yeah.
Do you like the sort of helmet he's got, the mask with the rotating orange?
Oh, the Lynx one. I do like that. I am working towards the space helmet, I must say, because it's a fucking space helmet. But yeah, I like the guy. I think he looks like he doesn't look like a hero. He just looks like a guy.
Yeah, and I think because you went through that opening segment with him, you saw how vulnerable he was, and just like there's no anaesthetic, and they're just drilling bits into him. But the world it's not. I know you had the thing where it's like End Lore 2018 and End Lore 2019. It's not really doing lore stuff. It's just going, look how fucking cool our world is. Figure it out.
Environmental storytelling, bitch.
And I like that a great deal.
I saw a note on a wall that said, use its weapons against it, and I have no idea what that means.
It's those are the quick boys.
I'm hoping it comes up soon.
Those are the quick boys that are up near the top, and they are dropping Rhino gear and the tungsten stuff for level 2. But yeah, those
Space
boys...
Boy round the corner drops at that as well. That's why I'm so high level, because I was farming him over and over and over to get the stuff I needed. I needed to farm him I think 3 times for each one of the legs, so 6 times each. 6 times I had to farm for the leg ones, then 6 more times for the arms, then I think 7 times for the chest piece, and I think 5 times for the headpiece. So I've just kind of run back and forward from him over, and he's so close. It's literally run up, run around the corner, bang, bang, get your stuff, go back. You're gonna be angry with me when you see how cool this stuff looks.
The boss is really good. The boss is massive.
Okay.
Genuinely massive. And I got battered when I first stumbled into it, early on when I was playing it. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't expect a boss there, and was just like, oh, Jesus. And I went back tonight, just before I leveled up the hammer to level 2. And got him down to about a 5th worth of health left, so he's doable. And as I understand it, once that boss is out of the way, it kind of unlocks the rest of the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. But so tell me about your preconceptions, and you knew that I'd started jumping up and down about it a bit, which hopefully, I don't know. sort of set off triggers in your mind in the same way as Hollow Knight did when I heard that you were clicking with it.
You did what you always do. You said it's a bit like 2000 AD. I'm like, well, fuck, I've got to look at it now, haven't I?
I'm not wrong in that regard. It does feel like a genuine future shock.
You're dead on. Like it's Tharg mighty. That's how mighty it is.
Yeah.
See what I did. And like the picture you showed me of, I've picked up this giant orange hammer. I'm like, well, that's not fair, because that's what I am.
The hammer's fucking amazing as well, mate.
If Paddy Stardust was not my online handle, the orange hammer would be it. Like,
so yeah, tell me your thoughts then, going into it and how it tied into things you love and just your preconceptions.
I knew about the wheelchair thing.
Okay.
I'd seen that before somewhere, I can't remember where, but I'd seen that, so I knew that was coming. But I still enjoyed the reveal when it was showed off. I was like, that's still really classy. I expected the combat to be harder. I don't know what it's still hard. Like, it's not easy by any stretch, but I expected it from what I've heard. People are like, oh, it's just really difficult. Like, every monster just like smashes you in one. Like, do they? But the fact that it gives you, that extra level of like, choose a part, wail on it a bit, then try and cut it off. You might get some sort of stuff like, oh.
But it's not just go. It's not just go for the areas that aren't armored. It's oftentimes it's like, I want that arm that you have.
I literally only go for the areas that are armoured. I don't mind. I will always hit the armoured area because I want to get the stuff to make my gear better, and I want to have a good stockpile in case I find something interesting in the future. I want to have stuff ready to pimp. I've enjoyed like unlocking like, oh my god, the shortcuts. Oh my god, the shortcuts. Yeah. So many doors to unlock that unlock little clever little ways back. Like, and I love shortcut porn. Shortcut porn is the best kind of porn. Just don't.
And those levels are really well designed, the way that they fold back in on one.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I expected it to be, the robots have all gone mad. It doesn't even say that. It just allows you to get it. Here's a nice thing I enjoyed. When you first wake up, kind of on your back, being tugged at by one of those flying drones, and you kind of kick it off and stand up, there's a couple of seconds where he's like, oh shit, I'm standing up. Oh shit. And then, now I've got to fight.
I appreciate that.
I really enjoyed just that couple of seconds. He didn't even see his face, really. It was just him sort of like looking down going, oh, okay.
And they didn't make a big deal of it. That's in a nuance for somebody to notice or not.
If this was an anime game, we would have had 5 minutes of, oh my god, I can't believe it. My legs. Yeah. And it would cut to someone on the radio going, oh my god, you're walking. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe it either.
Not just an anime game. Or like other stuff may well have...
would over-egg that particular pudding. Yeah. I thought it was classily dealt with, and just gotten on with and moved on. Maybe they'll talk about it more as they go. But you know, I like the hologram lady video phone woman you meet in the med bay. Really it just slightly snarky answers, but without being a cunt about it.
I don't like the Bruce Springsteen song, the type song that plays.
Oh, I love it. Hey CJ, do you know there's an option, you can turn off the medbay music.
Yeah, that's gone.
I've left that on permanently.
This
is it. This is where we found our divide. This is. This is. Our
I do like the level of snark when you go in there and sometimes this is not a scheduled break time.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah,
and it has remained funny the 19 times I've heard it since. Yeah. But genuinely, no, I quite enjoyed that one. No, I didn't expect to be able to crunch on with it. I thought I'd be kind of struggling. I've died plenty of times already. Like I've fucked things up, but there's enough going on that it's not just I'm a Souls game, but a robot. Like it's got its own ideas, and I didn't expect that.
There was a criticism that I saw in a video, which isn't a criticism to me, and I know it won't be to you, where the person was saying that I could have done with more of this because the game will last you about 30 hours. Fine with me. Absolutely fine. If this opening level is representative of the rest of the game for those 30 hours, if you're going to be that concise and it's going to be that much fun.
But the way we play, the way particularly you play, this is going to be a 70-hour game for you.
Yeah, this is very true. Although it sounds like you've done your fair amount of twatting about today.
Well, I wanted to look like a Gundam Space Boy. So why are you levelling up your power core so hard so early, CJ? I must know.
Right, there's the thing whereby because
I do know. I'm just leading you in.
Yeah. With the augments as well. For every when you get to, is it like level 15, 25, 35 and 45, it unlocks an extra augment. So
you can equip more shit.
Yeah, so I'm looking to plug more stuff in there. The boss was a bit of a beast when I first fought him, so I was sort of stealing myself for that. But at one point in the level, there are these override panels that you have to be a certain level to like overcharge, and I think there's stuff like Paddy was saying, lit up the darker areas and opened up a shortcut, and
they'll have a number on it and says if you're like you can do it, it's green. If you can't do it, it's red.
And one of these is level 55, and I'm sure it's for come back to this area later, but they don't appreciate just how much I will grind the hell out of a certain area over and over and over to become overpowered. I need to know what it is.
I mean, you could just Google it.
No, but that'd ruin the fun. even if it's an anticlimax, I'm still game for figuring it out. So and I'm level 44 now, so I'm not too far off. I will say, and this is a little bit of a surprise that I found out late. There is a fair bit of DLC, but some of that is free.
I've downloaded that.
Yeah, so there's the Fire and Ice pack, which puts a few new weapons in the game. I think it unlocks from the next era onwards, which, as I understand it, aren't that great against armor. But if you go for an area that's unprotected, and if you go for an area on the body rather that's unprotected, the elemental stacks pretty massively. I'm wondering if this is where your boys come in, because I only downloaded these tonight.
Maybe.
I'm wondering if this is where your space boy comes out.
I don't think so, because he does feel like he's supposed to be there.
I'll have a go.
Well, I found in my inventory there's a little item that says, "Hey, there's some." Because a lot of them is like someone's like fucked something up, or they've screwed someone over and taken some stuff and run off with it. I've got an item in my inventory that says, "Oh, if you go near the so and so area, look for these guys. They've got this stuff." Yeah, and that's the memo you start with. That's one of them, I think.
Well, there's also the Cutting Edge pack, which gives all players access to 3 new armor sets and 3 new weapons paired with them, 3 new jumpsuits. Then there's the of the paid stuff. There's the Creo Special Employee Kit, which is a small DLC which includes 1 unique exoskeleton, a damage boost consumable implant, and an implant to detect other implants and secrets hidden nearby. That one, I think, is about a $5, and I think it's on sale, I think, on Xbox for about $2.99 at the minute, and comes with the augmented edition, the one that's got like all of the like DLC and everything included with the main game.
Yeah.
But there are 2 expansions. There's A Walk in the Park, which is there's a theme park on Creo World that goes wrong. You fight Donut Man mascots, self-healing aid workers gone mad. It looks amazing. Apparently there's a roller coaster section which is genuinely terrifying.
Okay.
And it looks brilliant. So obviously we're starting off in this area which is just this broken down rocket yard, but a theme park. I've seen him. I've seen the bloke like literally slicing into a robot donut man. A big donut with arms and legs.
What?
And a face coming at him. And that, to me, is mental. And again, it kind of ties into the 2000 AD feel to it, because it just looks like British humour. There's also The Good, the Bad and the Augmented, which, if I watched the video last night, and I'm sure I heard that it's an underground lair based around a discontinued TV series where a madman continued it by building his underground lair around it, which is essentially a series of cowboys and monsters. And it's just... it looks mental.
Brilliant.
And there's a lot of hats, Patrick, and cool cowboy gear that you can put the boy in. Also, robot outfits.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So,
By the way, I've just Googled it. Deck 13, German.
Well played. But I'm super taken with what I've played, and I think I judged this one really wrong from the off, and it's a really good game.
I can only agree. I'm kind of, again, I'm annoyed at myself I've left it for this long. I don't know if I'm going to play this hard just yet, because like I said, I'm still dug right into Hollow Knight, and I don't want to kind of let any of these things slip, and God, there's so much good shit I'm playing at the moment.
But it's a fun one to fall into, and it's one of those that it doesn't seem demanding of your time because it's so much fun to play. I enjoy the combat and delimbing those bastards and those slow-mo moments.
It is satisfying. I don't feel like I've really power leveled that much. I've kind of ground out that astronaut guy, but like even that doesn't feel like grinding. That just kind of feels like I just need some shit and then I can get on with myself. Like, and I'm just giving myself a boost for later.
The boss is a boy though, and from what I've seen of the level afterwards, there's like robo dogs that look like proper brilliant. That look almost like sparrows from Destiny, but crawling across the floor at you. It seems to vary things up as it goes along. And if I am enjoying it this much, I'm definitely going to jump into that theme park and the Wild West stuff, because that seems really left of centre. And it's again, it's nice to see somebody doing something with the Souls template, which is varied the mechanics, but is doing something that Souls isn't doing. And I think they've definitely found a niche for this, and I'm taken with what I've seen of the sequel as well.
Well, I'm going to look up the sequel now, because I've kind of been ignoring it, and I kind of got a reason to now. So
there's a sort of 8-minute developer reveal, but there's Matthew Castle at Rock Paper Shotgun's got a really funny video, but that's got the transforming statue in there, which is literally, it's not just a statue stepping off a plinth and fighting you. It's literally like expanding outwards and faces unlocking, and yeah, it's really cool. And the city area looks superb in there as well. But proper good stuff.
Up for it.
So yeah, I'm really glad you're enjoying it, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we found another good game.
Yeah. Thank you, PlayStation Plus and Game Pass. But,
ding.
If it's cool, I'll buy those expansions because they look mental.
It's worth a few quid to have a bit more laugh. If we are even good enough to beat the video game. It might get hard.
So finally, Sekiro, you played it yet?
Of course I haven't.
No, me neither.
Now, I would say I've watched Ellie play some.
Yeah, it looks good. Ellie's playing it nicely.
Yeah, I will say that the bit I watched had a bit in it that seemed very for me. It was a giant owl man who had a magic owl. He had a stand. Yeah,
I saw that. That was good.
But I don't know. I don't think this one's for me, guys.
I will refer you to me with Bloodborne, and I think that it's not the game. It's you at this point, and there'll be a period of time where maybe you find it in a sale, or it's the right moment where you go, right then, let's see what you've got, and you're coming at it with knowing what other people think, and coming at it on your own terms, and just going, right, let's see what you can do. Kind of not a million miles away from what we're doing with the Surge.
A bit, maybe. I don't know. It should be said that a benefactor who will not be named offered me a free copy, and I said no. I had no desire. I was like, I just don't think this one's for me. I've watched a lot of videos of it now. I just don't think this one's for me.
I think that you might enjoy it further down the line. But again, it's like with Bloodborne. It's strange to think of it now, but the times that I approached it initially, it didn't click with me, and I knew it was waiting for that right time. And when that right time arrived, I lapped it up. I think it's magnificent, but sometimes you can't force it, and sometimes it's you get outside influences kind of nibbling in at you, I guess. And I'm chuffed that we at that that point that Sekiro was doing what it was doing and getting all the plaudits and getting the attention and the tension around the difficulty, we discovered Outward, and we were having a phenomenal time with that. So I'm glad when we veer off into our own direction. It's I'm proud of that, and plus it's fun to go for the weirder stuff.
Yeah, because who wants to listen to the 19 podcasts talk about the same game every week?
Exactly. We'll get there, and there'll be that point where it's like, we'll call the episode Sekiro, and the 5 people that listen to us will all be like, the Twin Humps boys have played Sekiro.
They finally did it!
It will sound like Queen in Bohemian Rhapsody. Maybe that's the song we should sing when we get there. But we will get there. I mean, personally, when James Carter said about the Xbox Elite that he sold his one, but he found that with Sekiro there were points where if he persisted and learned the paddles, that keeping his fingers on the paddles underneath and keeping his thumbs on the sticks would have paid dividends massively. So I think that there's a good chance that when the new Elite comes out towards the end of the year, that might be the point where I'd take James's advice on board and I go, right, this is the perfect game for this pad. So I'll give it a pop then. But yeah, your time will come.
Maybe.
So that is a chunky monkey of a show.
Oofed.
Yeah, it's been good to natter, and it's been good to get back to Soul stuff.
We've stopped at a lot of stations today, haven't we?
Yeah, I will link you to some of that Surge stuff as well, because the trailer for the Good, the Bad, and the Augmented is particularly you, because it's just mental.
As soon as we finish, I'm looking it up.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the super jump through loads of Soul stuff. So a tantalising goodbye from me, and a tantalising goodbye from him.
Oh, goodbye.
Please welcome Keanu.
It's us.
Fuck you.
That's my hit song, Chicken In, which is about how excited I was last time I went to Nando's.
Oh my god.
You're breathtaking.
You're
breathtaking. What are we doing?
Have a free copy of The Witcher.
Right, we were so excited about talking about the Surge last time that after we'd recorded, we ended up watching some videos, and we've gone further in the game afterwards. So you could say that because we were oohing a lot about those sort of things, and we wanted to riff on it a little bit more, and we were very keen, you could say Keanu riffs.
Oh.
Keanu Reeves?
Oh, no.
Keanu riffs. No?
Would a better name for this little appendation not be like The Resurgence?
Hey.
Would that not be good?
Hey! Whilst you were trying to scrub the ginger off, I was putting down notes.
I will have you know that I had an orange bath bomb, so I actually added some in your face.
Fine. You didn't add some in my face. Jesus.
I've got a very good aim. It'll be there soon.
Let's move on.
Let's go.
So yeah, after the previous recording, first I showed Pad the rock paper shotgun video on the Surge 2, which was set in a park, and it showed lots of dismemberment, but it showed off the statue, the transforming statue that I mentioned on the previous bit of the recording. And it also went on to say that it tweaks its AI based on which weapons it has left, and there was that big electric shield that it had, and when you removed its weapon it was like smashing it down into the ground and stuff. The statue wasn't one of those where it's just gotten off the plinth and it started to fight. It was weird, wasn't it?
It kind of like unfolded.
Yeah.
Like a transformer. Like it was a statue, but there was a different sized person in the statue, and it kind of goes, and
yeah, it expanded sort of, and it just looked phenomenal. Like every time I've seen that thing, I've just gone, oh, that's magnificent. Also, like it looks like a nightmare, a transformation of a statue into a nightmare.
It's very clearly a statue, but also gross at the same time. Which I thought I liked it. I liked the transformation. I liked that the gear that you get off of it was just like segmented arm pieces. That was good.
What did you think to the initial look? Because I suppose the park isn't the greatest show off of improvements visually, but I guess you could concentrate on the fight mechanics. And,
I mean,
it
looked like a real jump up from what we've got. I mean, I'm enjoying this, though, don't get me wrong, but like this looked like, let's have some ideas, let's throw some more ideas on and run with it and see what we get, because we'll get to more in a bit, obviously, but like it looked like the combat system had evolved a bit. It looked smooth.
It looked, actually, because a lot of the enemies were using, I think, staffs, and were like, there was a cloaking mechanic which was really terrifyingly cool, even though it was out in broad daylight. It looked kind of like the best Star Wars game I've ever seen. And I suppose it adds to that with them being sort of in hoodies, and there was a change of like clothing design as well, to say that it's it's on Earth rather than on another planet. But the main thing that stood out was a new blocking mechanic.
Ooh, the blocking mechanic is good though, isn't it?
Yeah, and like it's a little bit For Honor, whereby there's sort of these guide arrows as to which direction the enemy is going to attack. So I presume the enemy can injure parts of you in the same way as you can in the first one. So you can hold there and you can block them, but if you time it, the arrow goes green and you parry.
So as the attack comes from the left, if you kind of ting your block to the left as it hits you, you'll parry them. It's really good, and like I like that it's not like it doesn't seem to be a fuck up, or because sometimes the parry button is not the shield button, and that's a problem, because you then got to be like, I'm going to be ballsy. That's one of the things about Dark Souls parrying I don't like, is that if you fuck it up, you're dead. Whereas this seems like you've got the shield up. You can parry if you're feeling brave, but you haven't got to make that split-second decision. You can just stay not moving your shield and just block it.
I like the information that's relaying to the player as well. It's not just, I suppose the Dark Souls thing is, you've got to get the timing down and you've got to go for it. This was, I don't know, it just seemed really smart and really cool, and it seemed like they weren't trotting out just a sequel to the first game in a different area. They were, they really thought about it, and it looked faster, it looked different, and those fight mechanics were genuinely exciting when I saw it, because as much as I'm really enjoying the fights in the Surge, you look at that and you go, yeah, you've actually, you're not staying still with that, you're actually moving forward. And there's this thing that can always be applied to companies that are doing a Souls-like game, that they're just doing it for the money, or they're just trying to get on the gravy train, and it's clear that somebody's gone, right, we could do this, and it's been
it's its own game, isn't it? It's doing that thing where it's doing its own thing, and it's like there's some influences clearly, but like it's very clearly having its own go at the formula.
But we'll come back to this in a bit as well. But again, I don't know why more people didn't make a fuss of this when it came out, because it's great. It's really great, and see that this has been taken on a little bit further was fab. I mean, we then had a look at a short 8-minute dev talk over a little bit of the city area.
Yep.
Which, as I alluded to last time, for me gives off kind of Division meets Crisis 2 vibes, so with maybe a little bit of Half-Life 2 in there.
I got City 17, I got Half-Life 2 off this. Big style.
But it looked really different again. It looked like they kind of, rather than the madness, almost like zombie-ish sort of humans and robots that you saw in the first one, these looked like it was people running with proper AI. And it was very different again, the way that they reacted, the way that they were blocking areas off, and they were sort of communicating with one another with the ways that, I mean, they even showed it in the park bit, where they said that one of them will stay back while another one attacks you, and they'll try and do you in from long range. It was like, and when I was watching it, I was just thinking, like, they're doing an Oz. Can you imagine
who we are?
If I mean, it's not confirmed that there's anything vaguely like co-op in there, but it was just like, I'll go for me, you handle you.
I like the stuff they showed off with the drone as well, like the expanded drone stuff looked cool. Like you could hot swap on the fly. Like, I want my drone to be a ping now. I want my drone to be a sentry now. Like, that's really clever, and it kind of opens up like a lot of different ideas. Like there was some stealth going on, wasn't there?
Yeah, it looked, and also the way that the levels interconnected, which I think is a strong point of the original game. It looked like the way that buildings had kind of crashed into one another, and like levels of floors had sort of fallen apart, and it looked interesting, and it looked like there was different stuff around each corner. Got super taken with that. With what we saw, but also the boss battle that they showed.
What is it? Because I can't tell what this thing even is, which is a good thing. Like, it's just this big dog-shaped, I guess.
It looks the thing that I liked about it. It just looks like loads of twisted metal that's gone into this kind of giant swinging dog type creature that. But with a little bit of knack in it, because there were all those kind of little bits, shards and like springs and screws that were just falling off it. Loads of bits like that. But they were saying that you can parry the boss, and we saw that, and you can cut off its weapons and stuff. But the most impressive thing was when it did kind of this massive slide on its side. Across the
almost a shoulder tackle, but on its own face.
Yes, and it was, the thing's huge, and the area that you're fighting in isn't tremendously big, but it's enough for this thing to have a proper go and like throw itself across the floor on its side. And
the scraping was good. Like, it was a real sort of like sparks and across the floor.
Throwing off loads of shit at the same time as well. Like loads of bits are coming out of it. Like it's just this kind of carbuncle that it shouldn't really be alive, and it's barely being held together, but it's angry and it's coming for you. Just a phenomenal piece of... I love that off-kilter design. We were talking about it the other day, where it was like... I love it where you stare at something and it seems... In this case, it seems sort of realistic, but not like something's gone quite wrong, but... somebody's trying to put it together. It's almost nightmare-like, and it's great. I stare at that sort of design. It's my favourite stuff.
He looked like a fucking Future Shock.
All of this feels like a big Future Shock, and I'm super taken with all of this story that's now sort of not only coming for us in the future, but the stuff that we're experiencing at the moment. So
I'm excited for the stealth stuff. I think that's fun. That's a new way of taking on a game like this. And like I say, stealth, it was creep behind man and then very, very angrily rip his arm off. And that's okay.
Cool. Yeah.
That's when you're playing Batman, one of the Batman games, and you're trying to be stealthy, and it all goes fucked up, and then you just yell stealth and jump out of the shadows and start kicking people. That looks like that kind of stealth. I like that kind of stealth. Violent stealth.
Yeah. It's almost like we think that Paddy's going to get into this. Should we Metal Gear Solid a bit of it for him?
Yeah, just a shade, just enough to give him a taste.
Actually, there's a bit of Metal Gear in that kind of that boss as well.
I can see that.
The shape of it, yeah, it's quite weird, but yeah. So, what were your thoughts of the brief glimpses then that we've been given of the Surge 2, and because they've not really showed off a lot yet, and they've only alluded to a few bits, but
I think they're showing off the right stuff. I think they're showing off what's different. Like you say, there's a character creator in there now, which is fun.
Yeah.
Although I think I'm starting to like Warren. He's a bit of a shit, and I think I like him. I like the combat seems to be evolving with that blocky parry mechanic is so good though.
Yeah.
It's very different, like you say earlier. It's a For Honor thing, but adjusted and adapted to work, and I think it's really clever. I like it a lot. I loved the city stuff we saw, like the move around. It felt like a real place that had got fucked to the ground. Because we watched the trailer at the same time. We did a little 3, 2, 1 go, and we both sort of went, "Oh, that city looks nice. Oh, fucking." Oh, it looks good. It looks like a good laugh. And the fun I'm having right now, I'm like, I could have some more fun like this. This is pretty fun.
Right, the fun that I'm having right now, and the fact that this has seemingly blindsided me with how much I love it. I'm of the instinct that I want to continue my venture into this straight after. But it's got to the point where I'm now looking at things that I've got pre-ordered, and I'm like, I don't think I'd really want to play those straight away.
Ooh.
There's a few absolute belters that I've got on my pre-order list that I'm now staring down and just going, I don't know. When something like grabs you, and the more we've played the Surge, the more invested we've become in it. But I just love the visual design. I love the way it's telling the story. It's taking me back to Star-Lord 2000 AD type days. And it's been a while, like with the first one. I mean, we'll go into that in a moment, but it's the first time where I've kind of played a horror game this ravenously as well, because it does throw into the horror stuff pretty nicely once you get to the second area. And I just kept playing and playing and feeling scared, and I don't know, I'm caught up in it in a way that's really blindsided me. But the momentum is something that I really find in games. I'm proper there.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was the Surge 2, the wee small bits. Even though they kept the powder dry for the most part, the stuff they've showed is really quite cool.
It's tasty.
So I then showed pad trailers for the 2 DLCs for the Surge. So there's Creo World, which is a theme park gone wrong, and then the Good, the Bad, and the Augmented, where scientist creates lair based around his favourite TV show that got cancelled.
Basically, excuse for a cowboy piss about.
Yeah, and I knew as soon as I saw this, I knew you'd be cooing, and that was the case. But if you want to go for that one first, you can.
Yeah, let's go for that one. I think that's the one we did watch first, actually. I very much like that they opened this trailer with a shot of him walking forward, like a dual-wielded kind of like 2 claw-looking weapons that very clearly had revolver barrels in them.
Wearing a very Western gear, let's face it.
Yeah, with a cowboy hat, because that is important.
With the music playing, with it. We even saw like the menus were all Westerned out as well.
They look good. Yeah, it looked like proper authentic stuff. I'm a big fan of seeing some new weapons come out. I saw fist weapons.
Yes, he was properly like beating somebody up with his hands at a certain point.
Oh, yes, please.
Because I was wondering which stuff beyond the initial opening and the cowboy walking towards us, and the sense of humour that was there from the off as well. I was wondering which bits would have you cooing the most, but it was literally seeing a guy uppercutting some sort of robotic lion dog man.
There was like
in
a
Western
lion,
outfit.
yeah, like a lion Taurus looking thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but still in cowboy gear.
Yeah, I think it looked fun. It looked cool. There looked to be a bit more platforming. Actually, it was interesting. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't like anything serious. It looks like a massive laugh. And I think for a DLC, a cowboy themed DLC for a robot game, I think that's about as what you want. You want a laugh. I don't think it's going to do anything plot wise that's particularly great. But
I think it's more like you go to different episodes of the show, i.e., different levels of this mad scientist lair, and he releases kind of boys against you.
It's almost like this bit is the theme park. I know the other DLC is theme park level. For me, I run around a cowboy place with robots. But that's my theme park. This is Westworld, but cool.
But if the theme park is the theme park, this is the guy behind it, clearly just doing his own thing and just going like, well, that TV show got cancelled. I could make that TV show in my lair. And I think this level of humour as well ties into, because it is very British humour.
Oh, for sure.
I know it's a German game, although I believe the gentleman that wrote it, I think he's English. But yeah, there's something quite, I don't know, wonderfully off-kilter about all of this, which is just reveling in everything that it is. And it doesn't take away from the horror or the weapon upgrades or any of that sort of stuff that you're taking seriously and you're super invested in the main game. But it's just going like, this is bonkers. This is bonkers. And I love that, because I even think in horror terms as well, that really catches you off guard, because there'll be stuff that makes you laugh, but there's an uncertainty of being quite jolly within a circumstance that you know something's out to get you.
I can see that. Yeah, this looks like my shit. It's exactly my shit. And I think Warren looks more like Sam Slade from Robo Hunter than ever in this. He is Sam Slade. That's Slayed to you. And then he shoots a robot.
Yeah,
good DLC idea.
Because both these DLCs aren't particularly expensive either.
I like what they've done. Like, they've done the same thing that Red Dead did. The first one, where it's like, right, do you want some DLC? Here's some fucking zombies. Why? We'll find a reason. It's a laugh, innit? And like, that for me is like, yeah, that's good DLC. Let's have a piss about. Because
The Good, the Bad and the Augmented came out later. And Creo World, the other one,
A Walk in the Park.
Before that, yeah. And that one, it's interesting the way that the DLC is structured as well, because a lot of people had already completed the game by the time the Walk in the Park came out. And so if you're in New Game Plus, you can play through all of it. But if you're playing the main game, like from the start, and you've got the Walk in the Park DLC there, there's a train station in the second area that you can board and go straight to the DLC. The first part of the DLC. And you will go through it, and there's a certain bit where you will dovetail back into the main area. And then further on in the game, you will access the second part of that DLC.
Oh!
Which is really good.
That's fun.
It's not just like, I mean, we've said like with the original Dark Souls, you've got, you can go to the DLC, you do the DLC, that's pretty much the way it works, and then you come back. But this is, clearly story-wise, they've gone, right, well, that should bring us back to here, and then we can go on for a bit, and then if we go off there again, we can bring you back in, and it just seems really mindful.
That's smart. I like that.
I really like it, and that makes me. I think I'm going to buy the DLC straight after this, because I want to. The things that I've seen of A Walk in the Park are stunning, absolutely stunning. I mean, before I picked it up, I started watching a little bit of Co-Carnage play through the Walk in the Park DLC. Like I say, I mentioned earlier, you can fight donut men, half-eaten chocolate bars with limbs, self-healing aid work has gone mad. Now, one thing that I saw, which is really cool, is there's a part of it that's, imagine Tom and Jerry, but Crazy Cat and Rusty Rat. I think that's what they were called.
Okay.
Crazy Cat, both of these are mascots of the park. Crazy Cat is a machine which goes mad and is doing everything it can within that madness with Wile E. Coyote mad style to kill Rusty Rat. Rusty Rat is a bloke in a suit, terrified out of his mind and on the run from the killer robot. And all the time you're hearing over the tannoy like, I'm going to find you, Rusty Rat.
Oh, that's fun.
And the bloke, like, there's a bit where Warren just says to him, like, well, if he's coming after you because you're Rusty Rat, why don't you change out the suit? And he's like, I've got nothing on underneath. And he's like, and the locker's down there, this killer robot's down there. What do we do? Well done. Absolutely well done. That's brilliant.
That's really funny.
Also in the DLC, you learn about Warren's past, and it's very good.
Ooh.
It's very good. I was sort of having something before work today, and I stumbled onto it in the playthrough, and I just went, "Oh my, what? it's really good.
Ooh.
So I'd say pick this up and add it through to your playthrough, because I think you'll enjoy it. Plus, when you find the roller coaster, you can ride the roller coaster, and I don't mean your character like wandering down the roller coaster path. I don't mean your character standing on top of the roller coaster car while you're there. It's essentially, it goes into first person and you ride the roller coaster.
Yay!
It's just smart as all balls.
Sugoi!
Yeah, yatta. So yeah, in sort of going back to this one, then, what did you think to the brief stuff that you saw of A Walk in the Park and the things that I've kind of intimated tonight?
Well, yeah, I didn't know much of that stuff you said now, because I pretty much watched the trailer and then I went away. Yeah, I like the look of it. It's colourful. Like, it looks weird and mental. There's a donut man that you fight. A broken-headed donut robot thing. That looked fun. Wasn't there like a large chocolate man as well?
There's a chocolate bar with limbs, but the chocolate bar is kind of partially wrapped at the top and has big teeth marks out of the top, and that will try and punt you into non-existence.
Thanks, chocolate man.
Amongst other things that are there, and yeah, the aid workers as well will self-heal themselves, but I think you can cut the if you do a successful break on the main body of them, you can cut off the healing part and heal yourself.
Yay! Fuck 'em.
Yeah, there was this. I mean, I think the writing in the game is insanely good, and it's I remember ages ago, our friend Stephen Rhodes congratulating his friend on the writing for the game, and I was like, "Am I making this up?" And he was like, "No, it's a gentleman called Simon McKenzie, who said because I nerded out, and he said again, thank you so much. I'm very proud of the Surge. This was my first project as lead. A lot of me went into helping shape the world and the characters within it."
Nice.
So it's like genuinely lovely man.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I mean, I was saying, I'm seriously floored by it. NPC conversations and audio logs in that second area, which we'll go into in a minute, add so much. And even this morning, little environmental bits, like there's a sign that says "Don't commit suicide" with the "don't" like spray painted through. And then when you look on the bridge, there are 3 plaques commemorating the deceased next to it.
Oh.
Also, the robot that's there seems to be putting up a higher barrier. It's actually building a bigger fence. And I was like, that's really cool. It's not making a deal out of it, and nobody's really gone into that, but that's really clever. And when I was watching the Walk in the Park stuff, there was a guy that came over the radio talking to Warren. And I think after you attack one of these sort of self-healing aid workers, this guy says, "Look, these people are my friends. These are people with wives and families and children." And
could you stop ripping off their arms, please?
No. He just basically says, like, you just hear it go quiet, and he goes, "Look, you've got to do what you've got to do out there. I understand that, but please don't tell me about it." I was like,
Ooh.
God, that's amazing!
Ooh, that's good.
And this is another one of those things that kind of not only glued me onto the entire game, but it just sort of attaches me to A Walk in the Park as well, because that's stunning, because it doesn't go the way that you think it will go. He's not pleading, "Oh, you shouldn't touch them, my friends. No, you don't. I know they've gone mad and stuff." He's basically somebody coming to terms with the fact, like laying it out for you, that these aren't just enemies.
Yeah.
That these are people, his colleagues, his friends, he knows them personally, but realising the situation that you're in, but wanting to cut himself off from finding out that you've been murdering them, even though he accepts, he's come to terms with the fact that they've gone mad.
Oh, beans.
Core.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the main game, previously, we were both on the first area. So just really to get you into mechanics and fighting a few boys and going into darkness and finding new weapons and leveling up. Just getting used to... It's a nice sort of jaunt around to figure out what the game is. Plus, you start to realise that it is so much fun to just fight stuff.
I'm definitely finding like I'm getting more of the rhythm of fights now. Like I was just running and going bang, 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 bang. Oh, I'm dead. Like I'm starting to understand how you move, how you block, how you just walk backwards while they're trying to do the big swing. Then you can move in without wasting any stamina. As a big Goliath boy, that's a big deal.
But it's interesting that it's not just the weapons that you carry. There's a really intricate balance in the ecosystem of the armor that you wear and the augments that you have plugged in as to how things feel. And I've gone into like loads of minutiae, like taking on parts, like really looking into those stats and going, just because you've got a new part and just because the defense is higher doesn't necessarily mean it's right for you. And I've noticed because it's very much like a Bloodborne type ballet when you're fighting enemies a lot of the time, that if you swap something out for something that looks like it will give you a little bit more protection, it's not necessarily going to be protecting you in the long run if you're running out of stamina or if its stats aren't really as good against sort of various enemies. So yeah, I mean, that level of minutiae caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I've done it. I've dug in a little bit myself, and been starting to notice things like, oh, well, you get set bonuses. You equip the whole set of something. There is a bonus that gets applied, which is fun. So I know it kind of you've got the choice to put whatever you want on, but if you do a whole set, I mean, I've now got a whole set of the Rhino gear, which is the heavy gear, and what it does, it gives you a bonus to impact damage for every augment you've got that does like increased melee damage, which is fun. So if I start hitting things harder thanks to augments, I'll also give it more impact, which is better as well. As the weapons I like are the ones that do a big sort of bonk. I like the single rigged, mace that lives on your arm. I really like it. As I start to find, augments that improve the damage, I'll be improving my impact as well, which means I'll be knocking things on their arse far more frequently, which is good because then they have problems and can't hit me back.
But you also get little things that factor into that with augments in your chipset as to how quickly your energy builds up, how quickly it drains, and when because you build up like an electricity meter as you fight, and once that reaches a certain level, you can hold down a button, essentially do a special move, a finishing move, and it really is a balance as to what you plug in and what you don't. And I'm glad I was grinding that initial level up to level 45 as I got to, because I've got all those augments, and I don't know how I'd be doing that second area.
It's
without
hard, isn't
the ones
it?
that I've got, because even now I've got more augments than I can plug in. But you properly make frowny face as you look at it and you go, but this, and maybe because the last time we spoke, you were saying that you'd got because you've got these injections that will just give you 90 points of healing, plus you've got ones that will heal you in 30 seconds.
And there's another one that uses energy, converts energy into healing.
Yeah, what is that? Because I didn't quite pass that because I was playing it this morning. I picked that up and I hadn't figured it out.
So basically, your energy bar, as you're fighting, it will build up. And when you get to a certain point, you can hit your consumable button, as long as that's what you got selected, and it will convert that energy into health. So as long as you're keeping your bar built up, you can keep doing a heal. I've got one that gives you health back when you do a finisher on a guy. So I get 10% of my health
every time, don't you?
Yeah, 10% of my health back every time. Because I'm finishing everybody, so it makes sense. Like, it's a sensible one to have on all the time. And I like that one tremendously. I've got a couple on that improve my energy gaining ability, so I can do finishers more often as well.
Don't you love the fact that one of the augments is showing the enemy's health bar, and it's one of the first things that you fuck off?
Do you say that? You say that?
Have you kept it?
I've got a new version.
Okay.
It's the
I've got it, but I haven't used it.
That does stability bar as well. So you can see how close someone is to being knocked on their arse. So you think,
good.
just one more
That's
attack and I'll knock them on the face, and then I can cut their head off.
It's just not super essential, because once you're in that place anyway, you're going to get your finishing sort of.
It does cost 0 power to have on, which is nice.
Yeah, but it's another place in the chipset that you can replace with something more essential.
I don't know. I found it quite helpful.
Yeah,
to see how well I'm doing, to know if I should keep pressing the attack or I should back off for a minute because they're only half done, and if I keep pushing it, I'll just leave myself extended.
So what is your build at this point then?
Well, I've gone back to the Rhino armor. I've had to sack off the Angel Gundam armor for a while because it's good, but it's real fucking demanding on
It's difficult to see as well when you're in certain areas, because you're essentially going for a walk in a level wearing a space shuttle.
You are a comedy Gundam.
You are
walking through this big world, and it's fun, but the shoulder pipes are getting in the way.
Yeah.
And compared to the Rhino gear, each piece is 2 to 3 points more expensive to wear out of your power than the Rhino stuff. So I took a bit of time. I ground out a few more bits of material that I didn't need to spend long to get my Rhino gear up to level 2 instead. Fully equipped all of that, and it's well, I've got 6 points left of chip slots now. I can now equip some way better chips.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a little better. I flip between 2 different single rig weapons. I like the one that you get off of the Spaceman. Codename Engelbert, I think it's called, or something.
Which is essentially, to those that haven't seen it, is like a giant extended arm with a bit of a. It looks like you've got a massive kind of pilot light thing, because it's like a little bit glowy on the end, but it is just like a jet from a space shuttle, isn't it? But
a giant fuck off great curved later.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, which is fun. And there's also the Pax Imperator, I think it's called. Which is a bit of metal you've pulled off of the Pax first boss of the game, the big walking robot thing, which is another single rig thing, which is just this giant chunk of metal that just straps onto your arm that's just dirty, and it's got comply painted on it, which is joyful. Comply, stab.
So what tempted you to try that out? Because I've been, at certain points, I'd gone back to the original area just so I could bollock about and try out the new weapons that I've been picking up.
I've tried others out. I just I think I found my rhythm with it quite quickly. I equipped the lightning rod weapon that you pick up really early. A lot of the guys in the first area have this thing on, like a big sort of 2-pronged lightning, a single rigged weapon. And I had that on straight away, and I kind of upgraded that pretty quickly and found that I was enjoying the bounce of it. I enjoyed how it felt to kind of move. It's a bit slow, but when it hit good. And again, when I found the Engelbert, it's oh, hang on, that's one of these. And then I got the Pax weapon, oh, that's one of these as well. I'm well, I think I've found boy for the game. I like this one. And I've been playing so long, I think my proficiency level with it is up to about 15 now. It's a bit of a joke. I have tried the other weapons out. I found the hammers were fun, but a little too slow for me. And I say that as someone who likes to take the hammers in this sort of games. I've tried the dual blades, the Wolverine claws, and didn't really settle with them.
But they all play differently though.
They do,
because I know that again, I think a lot of it's working out your combos. But when I was going with the those sort of Wolverine type claws and stuff, there was one combo that I was stumbling on early on. I think I was going in with like a heavy attack and then with a light attack, and it seemed to put the claws together and fling them forward, and so I was almost parrying a boy back. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think the more that you click with something and the more that you level it, you'll know when to back up, you'll know when to go forward, and obviously those claws do less damage, but they're a bit easier on the stamina.
A bit faster to get in and get out if you need to. Yeah. Tasty. So yeah, that's my setup. All Rhino and all weapons mounted on the back of my arm. What are you wielding?
So I've played about with some of the new stuff, but I've got the Lynx legs.
Try again.
Lynx legs, body, and helmet. Now, these give extra stamina recovery. It keeps me light. There's a slight differential in defense compared to other stuff. But one of the cool things is it's got a +4 against armored items. So it's -4 against exposed limbs. But as we talked about last time, you're going for the armoured stuff more than anything, because it's going to give you extra chips that you can break down, and extra scrap rather you can break down, and so that's essentially your souls. So, and when I was looking at some of the other items, they were, whilst the defense was higher, a lot of them had like wacky stats, like -5s against armor and -5 against unarmored, and I was like, that kind of negates the defense for me if I'm not doing as much damage. And I got the Rhino arms because they give me +30 extra impact, and the hammer's still my favourite weapon, and I think that's because it's balanced out against being the glass cannon, I guess, with being really light and really nippy, and also the Link's gear gives you like +10 stamina, whereas the others are taking away from like your stamina and your dodge. These give me extra beyond what I've already got, and then I'm using the hammer as well, and it seems to be like that perfect point where I can still nip around, I can still build up energy, still hit into them, but when I hit, I'm hitting hard. And that's just tremendous fun. Also, if you saw the little video that I put up on Twitter today, where I did the be the ball moment with one of the baddies, with uppercutting him into the air and then punting him across the arena. It's a beautiful thing.
That was good. It was very much a bye.
Yeah, and also the noise is tremendous. It's got a real boof to it when you hit the hammer, and kind of a poof when you're punting them into. But I will tip the hat here to Fistworthy the Musical on Twitter, who was very excited that we were getting into this, we were enjoying it, and that we'd recorded about it. But also he tipped the hat to the slide mechanic, where if you sprint and then you do either your heavy or your light attack, you'll essentially sort of slide across the floor on your back, and you will slide as long as you hold down that button, and then when you come back, you'll like spin back up and smash down into a boy, and it's brilliant. Anyway, I think I overused it at a certain point, and because I was enjoying it so much, and my initial way of introducing my way to an enemy is still to dash towards them, do a heavy attack, which will literally knock them in the stomach and knock the wind out of them, essentially, and then I can go into my combos. But my favourite moment of the slide was when you find the boys who are operating the mounted guns.
Yeah.
And if you run behind a box, like the first one that you get, if you run behind a box and you're coming out and you go into the slide, the gun is in a stock position, like head height position, that they're firing against. So you go into the slide and you're underneath the gun, and then you sort of like turn around like you're in a platinum game after sliding across the floor, and then I was just like moving up into this heavy smash down. And it was beautiful. The ballet continued.
You can hear in the background, Vanquish.
Yeah, it did feel that way. And yeah, so thank you super lots for that at Rusty Steel Pipe, because it's just a joy to use it. Plus, on a Twitter front, it's nice the amount of people that have come out and gone, "This is great. This is really great. Thank you for talking about it. I'm really excited to listen to it."
Hey.
So there are fans of this game, but I still think it's gone under the radar, and I still think the sequel's going under the radar, and there's something special going on.
Yeah.
So let me see. What were you generally doing with implants then?
As a rule, I'm sticking a couple. I've got 6 injectables now.
Me too.
That seems like a decent number to take around. A couple that give me better energy so I can do my finishes. The finisher one that gives me health back. And then the extra ones, I've still got the health scanner on, so I just think that's fun to use. And I think I've just got a couple of generic health ones on, just to kind of keep myself a little bit tastier.
On that. I've tried a few of the others and pondered them, but again, it's finding that perfect balance on the circuit board view.
The build, yeah.
To see what works. And it's interesting, I've only really figured out from our conversations tonight the fact that I'm going with a high stamina, low defense armor build to wield a hammer, which is quite unlike me.
Yeah, that
in
isn't
many
like
ways.
you.
Yeah.
Why aren't you over there?
I don't know. I've tried out a lot of the other weapons, and they're fun, but I tried
Is
out
Hammer boy?
Hammer's boy. Yeah, he just feels right. So yeah, and on other stuff, I mean, the second area is. Oh, tell me how you got on with the boss of the first area as well.
Oh, I fucking pissed him in one.
Were you the boss of the boss?
I bossed him. I absolutely bossed him. I think my Gundam suit did help.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I don't remember being particularly hurt by anything he did. I just kind of ran under him and punched him in the legs a lot.
When he's firing the missiles, that's the way to do it. To sit under him. Also, I love how
did he fire missiles? I don't even remember him firing missiles. I was just under him, and I remember hearing a and then he was all. So when he gets up, he kind of like blows up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, use his weapons against him? Maybe that's what that means. Ah, okay. So I hung around near him.
I didn't click on that either.
Yeah, I sort of hung around near him and thought maybe that means he'll, I don't know, either shoot himself or run into a wall or something like that. And I guess so. I couldn't see. All I could see was ankles.
I thought that was relating to the first Speedy Boys that you get. And it was basically telling you to sort of armour up and sort of... because they're giving away different weapons and different armor, but you're right. It might just be that those missiles on the boss were coming back to him. Yeah,
but yeah, I didn't see if they did because I just literally saw shin, ankle, and foot for most of that fight. That's fine.
I liked how he was kind of like a chatty Cylon. He was just like, and you walk into that area. And he literally unfolds himself from the back of the arena, and you're like, it just looks like a regular area, and you go, oh no, it's on.
Well, here's the thing: I'd been through that area already.
Okay.
And the boss hadn't woken up. I just wandered through it. So I'm guessing you have to do something and come back, which actually triggers the boss itself. I got a very Metal Gear vibe off of it.
I can see that.
Those walker robots from the fourth one, codename Irving.
Oh my god, have you got 2000 AD meets Metal Gear meets Dark Souls?
Maybe.
Yeah. Box ticked, flings clipboard.
Sick ass, like dirty looking robot suits. I'm in.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So I went back to it after, I think you said you'd beaten it, and I was like, I'd leveled up some weapons at this point. I'll give that another pop. So I think it was maybe third time for me.
Okay,
but second or third time. But yeah, I was in a much better place the second time. So let me see. I mean, the second area that you go to on a train, which I thought was a nice touch, is kind of the first. It's very, very different to the first area. It's rather than being outside, it's very close internal areas with there's NPCs there, and they're amazing to talk to. There's the one guy who was his armor had run out of juice, and you have to charge him up to get him to stand. And he said for the longest time, I've just been playing dead. As these things have been wandering around, he was like, thought I was going to piss my pants.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck,
that's clever.
That's really cool. And then there's somebody else that you meet, and those two don't like one another.
Yeah, he came to the thing and said, "Get me meds," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm not getting you meds." He doesn't like me.
Oh, did you say that? I said I'd go and get them, but interestingly, I went back and talked to kind of the hologram that's in the main room. and she said I've looked through all of his files, and there's nothing about meds at all.
Oh.
Yeah, so plot thickens, but again, good writing. And there's another boy in there who hates him as well, has just got no time for him whatsoever, and they're all back at your sort of med bay. They're all sort of hanging out there, which is kind of cool. Also, I realised when I fought the space boy that you mentioned in the first one that I hadn't seen yet because he was in the free DLC and I hadn't plugged it in. Do you notice that he's crouching down like Patches?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's crouching down like Patches, and I was just like,
that's fun.
Patches. Yeah. So, kind of cool. But,
very nice.
But yeah, you get the audio logs are fantastic, really atmospheric, and there's new enemies in there. There's those police guys who are seemingly hiding behind a wall with what looks to be like a Doctor Who telephone box on like drawn on it, and those guys don't respawn once they're killed either. And considering their armor is high stamina regen, that's at first you're like, oh god, they're running at me in pairs. They're essentially Jedis. What do I do? They're taking off loads of health. I was literally like boosting sort of in front of them, knocking the wind out of them, and then running back, and then just trying to do like a drive-by on them as much as possible. But they're really good. You get the repair robots who've got like really big long arms, and then there's one area with these robots that just aren't working, and then they suddenly start. The pounce robots.
They sound fun.
They are horrible. Literally, like these sort of spider robots that will leap across an area at you, and they're terrifying.
Oh, good.
But yeah, they're really cool. But so what have you made of this of the second area?
I've not got super far in. I would say I've probably got 7 or 8 enemies in before. I kind of, when you're playing it and you've got a bit of a shit brain on. Okay. And you're like, I can do this. I'm just not quite in my brain. I was taking big hits on every single enemy. I'm like, do you know what? This isn't working tonight. I'm gonna sack this off for a bit. But the bits that I've played, I quite enjoyed. It's dark. It's spooky. There's very clearly more to the place than I've seen so far. I'm kind of at the minute just kind of wandering around boxes and finding the horrible men behind walls.
It's quite intimidating, isn't it? And I love the fact that oftentimes you can see a boy and you can think, right, I'm going to run at you and I'm going to twat you and I'm going to knock you out or whatever. And then certain point into it, you'll hear, "Aah!" And then you hear boom, 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 boom. And you'll be like, right, let's jump right back, reassess the situation, see who we can take out. In fact, on that video that I had up earlier, I got one of those situations where somebody else had run into it, and I was doing that massively, see who I could get near and who I could like knock into a little bit and then pull back and then knock into and then see, sort of tease into where I could get my special moves off for one of them. And in this level, when you do get a bunch of boys, like where there's 4-6 of them in the same area, that's tough going, man.
No thanks.
That's where my drive-by ideas worked the most. But there's one group, and I think when you do get rid of them, there's a really good trophy that pops up where it's something like the Arcade Boys Covenant or something like that, and it's just these guys that are hanging around these sort of big metal crates that some of them have got like vending machines in there and stuff. Or it might even be the like vending machine cult.
Oh, that's
nice. I was like, that's really cool. So
I like it.
And also the way that the levels like fold into one another and are really quite daunting to wander around. Like certain points you'll get quite a wide open area and you'll get the guy from Creo talking about the paradise and how you won't need a holiday because your holiday's right here, and really selling it like a Steve Jobs. and then there'll be certain points where it just goes super dark, and you're walking around really sort of tight corridors and going into little lifts, and it's all red surrounding you, and it does a great job of varying up the different places in the level. The way that it dovetails back in again is brilliant, but also because the first level was fairly straightforward, this one takes it on a bit further again.
I agree. Yes.
So, excuse me. That's where we're up to at this point.
What a nice walk in the park.
Hey!
Hey.
Sorry, I needed a drink because I'd suddenly gotten coughing. I'm going mad, I tell you, mad. Where's my voice gone? It's 2 bits of show in a matter of nights. What can we do? But this is going to be a chunky episode, and I'm happy with that. And if this is my last episode and I am indeed dying, which I'm not, what an episode to go out on.
This is your legacy.
Yes. And my armacy, and my headacy, and my buttacy. So
You've got to watch out, mate. They'll cut off your legacy
to
get your armour. Hey!
So, thank you for listening. I hope you've made it through to the end of all of it. I hope you're going like, that was all of the Soul stuff. Literally all of the Soul stuff. And, excuse me. Also, if you have got the Surge on PlayStation Plus, or it's sitting there on Game Pass, for Christ's sake, play it.
Yeah, have a go. It's good.
Yeah, also, it's super cheap anyway.
Mm.
Picking it up won't really damage the coffers too much, will it?
One would hope.
It's been good. I enjoyed the last episode we did a lot, and I've really enjoyed this one a lot. And we've come back to this and added a bit more onto it.
Yeah, this is part 2 of the same episode that's in the same episode. You're making me edit again, aren't you?
Yeah.
Boo!
Hey. Goodbye, people.
Bye again, everyone.